what the 9 most terrifying words in the English language are. I'm from the government and I'm here to help.
To confuse the public about science, to confuse scientists about science. What about that?
But guess what? We got a lot to do. You gotta say hi to me. We go back a long way. She was 12, I was 30, but anyway.
We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, that to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed, that whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or to abolish it, and to institute new government, laying its foundation on such principles and organizing its powers in such form as to them shall seem most likely to affect their safety and happiness. Prudence indeed will dictate that governments long established should not be changed for light and transient causes, and accordingly all experience hath shown that mankind are more disposed to suffer, while evils are sufferable, than to right themselves by abolishing the forms to which they are accustomed. But when a long train of abuses and usurpations, pursuing invariably the same object, evinces a design to reduce them under absolute despotism, it is their right, it is their duty, to throw off such government and to provide new gods for their future security.
It's a trap.
It actually is a trap.
It's a trap.
Good evening. You know, it's Halloween time almost. I'm kind of, since I've been late, I'm not laid up. I'm just not working because I had surgery and they won't let me go back to work yet. But since I've been bored out of my mind, I got to get into the Halloween spirit between now and the end of the month, because this is like normally my favorite holiday, but I need some happy medicine. That's what I need. I need some happy medicine because the drugs aren't helping anymore. But anyway, hello and welcome, and hello, my fellow vapors, to the show, to the Son of Liberty radio show. And there's people here. Addie's here, and Raj is here, and Steve is here, and Peggy is here, and Toasty's here. And even Skip was here earlier. She said she might have already fallen asleep. But so how the hell's everyone doing? Yeah. Kevin was a few seconds late. So we were a few seconds late starting. He showed up and we started talking about Dolly Parton. And my lifelong crush with Dolly Parton. But anyway, Skip might be here, but she hasn't said anything in a while. She threatened to go to sleep. But anyway, we got stuff to talk about tonight. Tonight's show is called Academic Peer Pressure, and we're going to show you an example of a paper being retracted, not because it was a bad paper, but because of peer pressure from people, from groups that didn't agree with the science. But let's go ahead and get Kevin in here. Let's see. Here's Kevin.
That's what I want to do. I want to send my kids off to your door to go trick or treat.
Trick or treat! Trick or treat! But what the hell is going on, Kev?
No, I have an ability because of my friend to transfer some VHS to DVD,
Oh yeah,
and I've seen some videos this week I don't remember taking, and I don't think I've seen, and I think they're hilarious.
Well, was it like of a younger you?
Well, younger me, of course, but my children. So,
Oh, well,
because VHS was all the rage. Back
they
then.
had VHS when your kids were kids, but not when you were a kid, because that would have been like
8mm. Yeah, I've got 8mm of me.
tin type,
Yeah, 10 type. I have 8mm of myself. A few.
Super 8.
Just
I have
a
Super
few.
8 somewhere. I have some Super 8, but yeah. Hey, Dale S is here. Did you see Dale S just showed up in the chat room? Did you see that?
I see a whole shitload of comments. What did you do? Threaten them to come early or what?
No, I didn't.
My
Yeah.
goodness.
Well,
Well, I love them all. I don't know about you, but
well.
16mm, maybe.
I can remember my dad bought a VHS camcorder when I
Yeah.
was a kid, and it's like it's one of those ones you have to throw over your shoulder.
Yeah,
One of
what I
those big, huge honking ones.
Yep.
And now obviously you carry this damn thing around with you, and it.
Yep.
It,
So my advice to anybody who has any VHS is to at least watch them, and then they could deteriorate. The VHS seem to be the regular big ones. They seem to be okay. The little mini ones that I had to upgrade to when my first one broke are giving me a bit of troubles. But they're working.
Well, like here locally, we have a record store, like a record store, and they actually will take your vinyl and digitize it. If you have like rare vinyl that you can't, I wish I had some, like when I was a kid in high school, there were a lot of bootleg records out of like live performances. I had like a live Guns N' Roses vinyl and like stuff like that. You can't find those recordings are lost. I wish I still had the vinyl. I think my brother probably acquired them when I left to go to college and never came home. I think he acquired my entire record collection. Now, if I go, he'll say they're hit. It's one of those things. I'm never going to get that. So, hey, Mallory showed up and Michael showed up too. Did you see that?
Uh-oh.
So how other than being nostalgic for yesteryear with video cameras and
not a damn
tapes
thing.
and stuff, you didn't do anything this week? You just slacking all week, dude?
Not a damn thing.
Yeah, same thing.
I did. Oh shit! I did find a smoking control, and I'm not.
Oh
joking.
dear God! I can't
It's
even
a
read
smoking control.
Oh yeah,
look at that. Huh?
Yeah, that's old school. Listen to this tape while you're asleep, and you will stop smoking.
That's right.
You will stop smoking.
It's funny because it's made by the Love Tapes on the back. Love Tapes.
It's got like
for
Barry
Skip,
White on
who wants me to be
somewhere.
kind. There's my love for the week. I've had
be kind. So Peggy tagged me on a tweet the other day that it's only been a couple days. Yeah, there's 4 days or whatever. So I didn't want to post this because this is the stuff that I ordered from Peggy. But she turned it into a tweet. Yeah. So this is from Peggy with E-Cigs source. Yeah. So this is all the liquids that I ordered from Peggy. I didn't order this one. This one's from our friend Dimitri. And her tweet was, how many tobacco flavors can you count? One for you, one for you, one for everyone. Now, all of these are 12 milligram, except for this one. And I think these two are coffee. But all of these are, that you can see, except for these two in this one, are all tobacco flavored e-liquids. And this one that I'm vaping right now, this is Tobacco Stash is what it's called, from a company called McCree, and it is a pistachio tobacco. And most of you that understand my craziness know that I love the pistachios and I love the tobaccos. But this is another one from a company in Florida called Gentleman's Draw, and it's called Sweet Tobacco. It's pretty damn good, Kev. It's just a regular. You probably would like it. It's not like a fruity tobacco. It's mostly just a caramel tobacco, maybe a little RY4ish.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought that was nice because these are a lot of companies. A lot of companies are dropping out of or have dropped out of the anything above 6 milligram world. There were other flavors on her website when I was going to order this that had tobaccos, but they only went up to 6. And I'm like, this is the stupidest thing I've ever seen.
I didn't have
these
18
companies
for a while.
Oh no, I mean no,
Took me a while.
There's only a handful of companies that are still putting out 18.
Well, I hoarded like 20 something bottles at a time, so I wasn't out, but I was having a hard time finding it locally.
But for people that are trying to quit smoking and don't want to use salt nicotine,
right,
because of they don't like it, or whatever.
It's too harsh, too smooth, too whatever.
This is the argument that I've been having with e-liquid companies for years.
Do not limit nicotine strength.
They're like, well, we don't sell that much. I'm like, well, then don't buy that much, but keep it on the shelf until But yeah, Raj is in the chat room. Good luck finding 18 milligram. That's why we had to buy our own nicotine and start making our own liquid. But when I had my knee surgery, I didn't think that I would be able to stand up at the mixer and mix for a long time. So I ordered some stuff, and I'm walking now. I could do it, but But
I think because I saw the question, I don't remember who it was already. How's the knee? Oh, it was Mallory. So what I'm more worried about your knee isn't really your knee. I'm more concerned. Can you take a good kick from your wife by this point? Is how good you are to me.
Well, I have been jokingly blaming her for the whole thing because I don't know what I didn't do anything. I didn't do anything, to make it happen. And I said, so you just, kicked me in the knee in the middle of the night and tore my cartilage.
Oh,
yeah.
That's what happened.
So
if I think if you're healthy enough now at this point that you think you can take a good kick to the knee, from her, then you'll be fine.
No, I'm going to be fine. I have a
kick yet. All right.
I don't think I should.
That's how I want to gauge your health. That's how I gauge it. That's my gauge.
But I looked at because they sent me my paperwork, my away from work paperwork or whatever, your family medical leave or whatever. And the doctor told me I would only be out for like 6 weeks from the day of the surgery or whatever. He has it dated until like the week before Thanksgiving.
Look, take every fucking time.
I'm like, no fucking way, dude. No fucking way. I'm gonna be. I'm getting paid. It's not that. I paid for short-term disability insurance. At our advanced age, Kevin. If your job has the option to pay like $3 a month for short-term disability, you better take it. Because
I'm gonna tell you a very silly story. I had a surgery, and they said 6 weeks, and I went back at 4, and I said, "Can I go back early?" He said, "Yeah, if you want to. I wouldn't suggest it." And I went back early, and I was in pain for an extra 3 or 4 weeks. I had the same surgery on another side about 3 years later. And he said, "You're going to be off 6 weeks." I said, "I want at least 6 weeks off." And I took every fucking minute.
I will
dumbass if you don't.
I'm walking normally. I have it's still sore. I'm not ready to go back yet.
Take up knitting or something until the time.
Like today, I just got in the car and drove.
Good.
Just to go get a cup of coffee, just to get the fuck out of the house.
That's right.
Man.
Go find yourself. That's right. Go people watch. Do something at the airport. Don't look
the airport.
suspicious. Just go to the airport.
You can't. Our airport is so tiny. There's only like 3 terminals at our airport, dude.
Well, there you go.
You can't even go to the airport restaurant without going through security, and you can't go through security without a fucking ticket. It's not like where I used to live, you could the airport had a whole bunch of restaurants that you could go into.
Mm-hmm.
And some of the airport restaurants are damn good.
They used to be here, yes.
Yeah. But yeah, you can't even get to the 2 little airport restaurants without going through security, and you can't do that without a ticket. So, yeah. And, they charge you like $10 to park at the parking lot for just an hour. So,
well, go outside, watch grass grow.
Well, we've had oh my God, Kevin, we've been in water restrictions here. We've been in like near drought category for like 4 years, and like you could count the number of times in the last 4 years that it's rained in like maybe 2 hands. It's rained every day this week.
Mm-hmm.
The grass is actually growing.
It must be El Nino.
La Nina.
I don't know what it is.
I think we're in a La Nina, Kevin, not an El Nino.
Something I don't fucking know.
We're in one of those things. So, we've been saying for a long time that this whole epidemic thing, this whole vaping epidemic thing, that obviously there are bad actors. Don't get me wrong. But the vast majority of these kids that are getting these products are not getting them at a brick and mortar store or even a convenience store. I mean, we did show last week that there were like 20 fines levied last week, and the FDA hit and they were all but like 2 of them straight convenience stores, and then 2 of them were hybrid tobacco and vape stores, right?
That's right. Just like Mike had a discussion with Jerry about. Yep.
Right. So
same thing.
He
here said we go. Majority at that time.
Yeah. So let's look at this here. This is how the kids are getting these things. It says Bryan teens arrested and charged with selling THC vape pens. And then there's a blurry picture of I don't know why they blurred this picture of a cop car. I don't.
They used a potato for that.
I don't understand that. Yeah. So it says here, 2 Bryan teens were arrested Wednesday night for allegedly selling THC vape pens, according to Bryan police. Anthony Doty, 17, and Kaya Chavez, 19, had been advertising the pens for sale on their Instagram and Snapchat accounts. After contacting them anonymously to buy the drugs, authorities met up with the teens, and they were later arrested. Doty is charged with unlawful possession of a firearm. This is Texas. There's no such thing as unlawful possession. Both he and Kia are charged with manufacturing and delivering a controlled substance, and the teenagers are being held in the Brazos County Jail.
I have 2 questions. One.
Well, they manufactured them, Kevin.
If it's a handgun, he's got to be 21. If he's 17, why is his name in the paper? He's underage.
Well, apparently they're being tried as adults.
Oh, and with the follow up, where were the parents again for the 17-year-old? Because parenting is an action verb.
They were probably supporting the kid's business. He's probably making money. But the thing is,
all right,
like I said, that's kids selling to kids. These are THC vapes, yes, but I mean, this is how the kids are getting them.
There's no distinction whether they're THC or not in the news usually. So.
No, I mean that was actually reported quite responsibly. It was right in the headline.
That's why I said that.
I'm not gonna complain about that too much, but yeah,
kids.
It's the same thing though. It's the same thing though. These kids are getting these things from other kids, so yeah. I mean, social sources is what we've always said, and. It's just, why aren't here in Texas, at least, I mean, the pun I've been saying for years, punish these kids, punish the parents, but punish the kids, they're not going to learn. But now, I mean, this law in Texas, by sending these kids to the magnet schools, to the
you saw that?
I mean, they're being overwhelmed. There was a story.
There's
a story. That the schools, these redirection schools or re-education schools or whatever the hell they're calling them, they're getting overwhelmed.
Let me see.
So I did see a story somewhere where one of the principals or one of the superintendents was creating a new program to give them amnesty or something. But yeah, I mean, the Texas thing has gone a little too far, I think.
I'm gonna try my luck here. See if
if it's a video, I'm not doing it, Kevin. Send me the link, because you're gonna destroy the bandwidth.
Calm down. No, I'm sending you. I'm putting it in the chat, but I can send it to you on Facebook.
Well, if you put it in the chat, I have YouTube open. I can copy it out of the YouTube.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Good enough. Ivana sent me that yesterday or day before.
Yeah.
But I thought you had talked about it. I wasn't sure.
We've covered it. What, the new law?
Yeah, the Texas thing that I'm seeing is
like 3 months ago.
Okay,
yeah, we covered this a long time ago when it was passed, or when it was first authored. It was like 8 weeks ago that it actually became law, and we've covered it several times since then, talking about the kids being. But like I said, the one superintendent in schools in San Antonio has already said that their whatever it's called alternative school is already overwhelmed with all sorts of other behavioral stuff, that sending all these, vape kids over there is just, destroying their resources.
They're all idiots.
And when I was a kid, Kevin, and I'm sure even when you were a kid, going to the alternative school, I mean, that's where all of the kids that have behavioral problems, that have,
that's where I got my drugs.
I would have been happy to go there.
Well, yeah,
because that's where all the people like me were,
Well, yeah.
But here, let's look at your link here. Let's see. It says this is from an attorney.
Yeah.
A website. Vaping, teenage vaping in Texas, punishment for THC and vape and tobacco. So attention, parents and juveniles, delinquents. Teenage vaping in Texas is illegal. It's literally been illegal for like 6 years. I mean, if you're between 18 and 21, it's been illegal since then. Yeah. No, the stream didn't die. Refresh, Steve. It doesn't matter if it's nicotine or THC. It's against law for a juvenile to vape or smoke in an e-cigarette in the Lone Star State, and that's not all. Effective September 1st, public school students found in possession of a vape or e-cigarette on campus or at a school-sponsored event will now end up in alternative school. Texas legislators passed a law this year, Texas Bill 114, which requires a mandatory placement in a DAEP, which is a disciplinary alternative education program for vaping. In this article, a board-certified juvenile lawyer, Lisa Herrick, explains teenage vaping laws in Texas, including the crimes and possible punishments, as well as collateral consequences of possession of a vape or e-cig on campus.
Yeah.
And then, there's obviously, if you have THC, Texas is not pot friendly. So it doesn't matter if you're an adult or a child. THC is not legal in Texas. Vaping nicotine. Most people know vaping THC is illegal in Texas, but what about tobacco? In Texas, it is illegal for people under the age of 21 to purchase, possess, use, or accept an e-cigarette or cigarette or e-cigarette or tobacco product in Texas. Legal age for tobacco used to be 18, but in 2019, Texas lawmakers cracked down in response to the rise of e-cigarettes among teens. They didn't crack down. It was negotiated, but Safada, Texas was in there. I was in the Capitol then. This was This was not a crackdown. This was, hey, yo, this is the responsible vendors for Texas, and reluctantly we will do this because that, but
Yeah.
you're not going to ban flavors. And they said, no, we're not going to ban flavors.
No.
This was a negotiating thing. This is what happened. I was there. So yeah, they're sending them to these magnet alternative schools. They think if they take the bad kids from around the good kids, that the good kids won't
That's not how it works.
won't become bad.
That's not how it works.
No.
At one point, they were all good kids, right? That my assumption would be. And then suddenly they turned.
Oh no. Yeah. I mean,
and then you're going to have somebody who's accused of doing it and go to that magnet school and then become a bad kid because.
Well, I mean, we already saw a girl get strip searched and molested because one of her frenemies, or whatever you want to call it, the mean girls,
accusation,
dropped a dime on her, and then they strip searched her and found nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we covered that. I mean, it's the same thing here. I mean, the mean girls or the bullies or whatever are going to drop a dime on somebody they don't like, and they're going to get sent to this alternative education school where all the nowhere kids. I mean, I don't know if you have a kid who is bad. I'm not using that word as an E, but that's not making it in the normal school,
right?
Whether it's a behavior problem, maybe they got ADHD, whatever, they're on the spectrum, whatever, they're not doing good, they're not coping in school. So you're going to drop them into an education program that when you get your diploma that says that you were in an alternative education program is going to ruin your academic future, right? So they're dropping these kids off and saying, okay, if you're going to, we're just going to ignore you now. And we're going to separate you from the place where you may have had a good role model teach you how to be good. Right. It's like the for-profit prison system. Bad people need to go to jail. But the system is designed specifically to make you hate the system and to turn you into a criminal.
Of course.
So this is like that, just on a smaller, a less, but that's the thing is, this is the starter school for you going to jail. If you're trying to reform these kids, sending them off to where all the other delinquents are is probably not the best place, Kevin.
Well, the CDC this week tweeted, and I'm going to read it. Educators play an important role in shaping students' lives. Be a positive influence by talking to students about the dangers of vaping for youth. Learn more here. I gave them some advice.
Did you need to send me the link to that tweet, Kevin? I already have a.
You have a rebuttal?
I have a tool. I have a list of grievances that I
can't.
How about we teach educators to keep their hands off the kids?
Well,
I'll
send you my. I'll send you.
Yeah,
mine.
That's fine.
That's my advice to them, and then you can add to, or you can do your own damn thing.
Well, I do have a whole thread of.
I know you do.
Yeah, no, Cal.
I thought if you were paying attention, you'd have seen my tweet.
When did you tweet it? How
no.
When was this?
I don't know. Look at the date. I have no idea.
All right, fine. Here, while we'll get off of this. Now they're banning vaping outside, Kevin.
Well, that's funny.
Yeah, let's ban vaping where in Fort Myers. Yeah, let's ban vaping where the wind could disperse it. Yeah.
Doc S'mores on Barbarossa. Myers at Centennial Park, where smoking and vaping is now illegal.
Any opposition to the motion?
It was a unanimous vote in Fort Myers on Monday that's already in place at parks today,
So
prohibiting smoking
you're
in public
outside.
parks.
There's wind. There's massive volumes of air for it to be dispersed into.
A whole bunch of kids farting and using perfume.
I don't think any parent is over here by the monkey bars with the cigarette hanging out of their mouth playing with the kids. Usually the parents are, over here on, in a bench somewhere while their kids, far away from the kids,
segregated,
and again, outside they're banning vaping and smoking outside.
There was an
idea lit up even by teens from local schools who pushed for this ordinance to pass.
You look at the data, is pretty much equally as harmful and equally as addicting. And so those kids.
Wrong.
What? Where's your data?
Well, she's from the city.
This woman's name isn't even in here yet. Maybe. What? Yeah.
It's really wanted to make sure that we set a precedent and included vape products.
A president. We want to set a precedent.
President.
Did you? I mean, I'm not making fun. She didn't say precedent. She said president.
No, she did not.
Now I'm being nitpicky here, yo.
Set a precedent and included vape products.
President.
In the ordinance.
The city tells us that the ban is motivated by concerns about litter and public health, particularly for children who could be exposed to secondhand smoke at places.
Secondhand smoke outside, Kevin.
From a cigarette.
It's not like they're in a tight confined. I mean, they're in a I can understand the litter is gross and stuff. I'm not defending that, but
no,
this is outside.
It's outside.
Where
cars come.
Just want to play.
It's gross.
That's right.
And it's nasty to do that.
And parents are all for putting it out.
I think it's a pretty good thing because, there's a lot of kids in parks and you never know, smoke is not really good for them.
But none agrees. Who spoke to felt like being outside was good enough.
I think it's ridiculous because they're trying to take every right.
Now, Kevin, this is like one of those things where there's a tornado hits a trailer park and they find the one like inbred hillbilly.
Yeah.
This is the guy that's standing up for us, and I'm not being judgmental, but yeah,
yeah, you are.
They couldn't find a guy that's wearing a suit and a tie.
Not at the park.
Well, we're outdoors right here. I'm smoking a cigarette right now, see?
That said, it is important to...
Now, the newscaster went and bought a pack of cigarettes, put them on that thing so they could take a picture of it. They didn't even take the damn seal off.
No, that's funny.
Note that the ordinance still allows for unfiltered cigarettes in parks, which were explained as being...
What?
So, you can smoke in the park.
Back it up.
The worst possible variant of a cigarette, the one with no filter.
Let him do it
because there's nothing to litter, Kevin. I've smoked filterless cigarettes for almost all the years that I smoke.
I want to make sure my volume's okay. Now I'm ready. I'm on night 88 now. Go ahead, do that again.
Okay.
That said, it is important to note that the ordinance still allows for unfiltered cigarettes in parks, which were explained as being less harmful to the environment.
Because there's no filters that need to be degraded. It's just paper.
You've got to be fucking kidding. Oh my God. Where is this? What fucking country is this?
This is Florida.
I gotta go.
Where's Nick at? Where's Nick at?
What the fuck is wrong with these people?
Peggy, you're in Florida. You need to talk to Nick about this nonsense.
Jesus Christ.
Get TD Bowen and
thing I ever heard. Oh wait, no, they don't have filters. Oh, those are safe. We're good.
Okay, so secondhand smoke is bad.
Oh my god.
Secondhand smoke is, but unfiltered secondhand smoke. I mean,
It's fine. Oh my god. Oh,
Right,
I'm gonna have a
but-
stroke. What the fuck is wrong with these fucking? Do
Because-
they even
because
know what
there's-
they're saying?
so fuck the kids. The filterless cigarettes are okay because they're good for the environment, but the whole justification up until this point was secondhand smoke.
This is like a 3-hour fucking tweet fest for me.
Oh dear God!
I can't even
Yeah.
begin to think of how this can go. Phil, are you listening to this? Oh my god!
I mean,
Where is this, Fort Myers?
yeah, Fort Myers, Florida. I think. Yeah.
Oh my god!
Next
Let's
up,
go.
the city is planning on putting up signage around Fort Myers Park so that
So now people are going to walk around the park and go, "Is that a filter? Is there a filter on that cigarette?"
The filter police. Now, you know, we've done some stupid shit on this show that I've been involved in. This has got to be the stupidest fucking comment I've ever heard
This is
on
this
any.
is on the list.
We're the number one vaping show, by the way. You know that, right? Everybody knows that. This has got to
We
be
should
the
be.
number one. This is it. Are you smoking? Oh, you don't have a filter. Oh,
okay.
I have a filter. Now I don't.
Oh, you can't smoke around my kid. Oh no, that's a filterless. Okay. Yeah.
Just break that filter off, buddy. What the fuck is wrong with you fucking people? These are
Oh.
educated presidents. Oh my god.
Presidents, yes. We have to set a president here.
Oh my god. You got me on this one. You got me.
At least you laughed.
The smoke is still the same, you fucking retards. God bless America. Whew, this is better than watching comedy.
God bless America. And my shotguns and rifles.
people know about the new ban and the new $100 civil citation that comes with it. Reporting from Fort Myers, Anvar Ruziev, Fox 4.
Is he the one that said that?
Fox 4.
Fox 4. So I'm going to smoke a cigarette, see the sign, snap the filter off, and go, hey, we're all good. Everybody's fine. Just breathe, all of you. Oh my God.
You're fine as long as you ain't got no filter.
Oh.
And you know, I actually smoked Camel filterless. I smoked Picayune cigarettes. I smoked Chesterfields, Lucky Strikes.
Lucky Strikes.
Lucky Strikes were good, man. They were better than the Camel filterless.
No, it's just the city parks, not the county or the state, right?
I mean, whatever ones are in within the city limits of Fort Myers.
Can you probably guess that man hour time on this bullshit was $20,000 worth of time on the city, and now they're gonna make signs and shit.
Say, hey, this is a filterless cigarette. Throw the filter on the floor.
Well, that negates my fine, officer. Fuck you.
I don't know where that pile of. I mean, I've been sitting here for 3 hours. I don't know where that pile of filters came from.
Do you see a filter on this cigarette? Then get away from me. Leave me alone.
All right, Kev. Now you know we've talked about this.
You should have saved that for
exact topic multiple times.
All right, I'm ready.
How smoking people that smoke, a good majority of people that smoke fall into certain racial and socioeconomic groups.
They do.
So this week, a group of politicians, they hit the FDA with a request to approve more e-cigarettes.
Oh.
This is the Center for Black Equity, and it calls the FDA for approval on e-cigarettes. So it says here the Center for Black Equity called on the U.S. FDA and the Center for Tobacco Products to grant a broad approval to a full range of nicotine e-cigarettes, also known as vapes, in a major step toward closing the significant harm reduction and health equity gaps perpetuated by current FDA tobacco policies. According to a press release, the approval of vaping products would benefit Black and LGBTQ plus populations disproportionately impacted by the negative health effects of smoking, including cancer, according to the CBE. The CBE calls for expansive regulatory approval on e-cigarettes, including flavored vaping products. It comes as the CBE released an econometric report that, for the first time, quantifies the benefits of switching from smoking to vaping in terms of lives saved, GDP benefit, and healthcare savings. The report was authored by Robert J. Shapiro, former Undersecretary of Commerce and Economic Affairs, and advisor to former President Clinton, former President Obama, and President Biden. Shapiro's report found that between 2010 and 2022, shifting from smoking to vaping saved 113,000 lives, preserved $137 billion in GDP, and saved $39 billion in healthcare costs, and that the availability of e-cigarettes reduced the number of smokers in the U.S. by 6.1 million during the same period. Championing meaningful harm reduction initiatives for Black and LGBTQ plus communities has been an elusive but essential aspect of effective public health advocacy for decades, said Earl Folks, president and CEO of the CBE. If the Biden administration and FDA are serious about health equity and harm reduction, especially if it comes to the president's current cancer moonshot initiative, the science is clear. Broad approval of vaping products will save Black and LGBTQ plus lives, reducing smoking and driving meaningful progress in lowering preventable cancer rates in the U.S., especially amongst the most vulnerable populations. So, yeah, this is something that we've. Did you see Richard Pruin just said hello?
I see that.
This is something that we've discussed quite extensively on this show, that smokers usually fall into the, not usually, but a huge proportion of smokers fall into the lower income, the poor, the brown, the ignored.
Yep.
So, yeah, the mentally ill.
A lot.
So, yeah, this is I think, a win for us. You know?
Yep. Yep. I was very surprised to see it. And
the fact that they've done the work. I mean, this is Robert Shapiro is not a weed. He's not a nobody. He's somebody that I've seen him on CNN talking about economic stuff. This is a guy, and he's reporting how much money that it's already saved in 12 years to the healthcare system. Number of lives saved. I mean, that's 113,000 lives is not a.
It's a few.
Drop in the pan here.
That's double my city.
Well, it's not here, but I think this is a significant thing for us. I mean, I don't know that anybody's. I've seen FDA ignore other things. Steve says, I don't see how the FDA can ignore this. It would be, I mean, if there are certain groups that they can pull, they can turn this into a big thing.
Yeah.
And right now they've got their, I don't want to say playing the race card, but I mean, right now this is currently a hot topic item, and if they were to use this properly, they could use this. I mean, this could be a mover.
The optics would be really wonderful. Yeah.
I mean, for Kevin and I, this is. I mean, we're as white as they can be, but I mean, this is something that we've talked about extensively.
I've heard if you're having trouble putting yourself to sleep, if you watch us, we may do that to you. I'm glad you.
Well, He missed the funny story that would have kept him awake. So,
tobacco filters, non-filters are safe.
Yeah,
filters are bad.
It's just the filters, Kevin. The filters are bad. But yeah, I mean, I think that we should be assisting with amplifying this message.
I don't understand, and I love every damn one of you, but Steve, I guess it was Steve. How can they ignore the past? Let's pretend. Patrick, how long have you been doing this?
12 years. 2010.
So
2011.
let's say they've ignored shit since at least 2010, and at least since I was starting around 13, and around 2015 is when they really started ignoring everything. And now
they get their earmuffs on.
It's quadrupled in information, and they're still ignoring it. So I don't know how they can. I don't know how. There's different connotations as to why they shouldn't, and then there's lots of reasons they're going to, I guess.
I mean, this could bite them in the ass if they do ignore it, and the
does.
CBE plays it properly.
Phil heard me. I love Phil. They already know this shit, and they're playing a game, and it's not a funny game at all to me. So.
No, I mean, now Kevin, the Florida thing. Going back to the Florida thing, that's when Phil,
Yes,
when you
sir.
were calling for Phil to listen to you.
Yes, sir.
There's this phenomenon in Florida. It's called
There
Florida
is?
Man.
There is.
You know, you'll see a lot of headlines that say a Florida man, and it's some shit crazy headline.
I never noticed.
So
Yeah.
this is an a Florida man type headline, the one that know.
Okay.
So I love my Floridians. Don't get me wrong, but y'all can get up to some weird shit. I'm just saying.
That's where the guy was eating brains or something quite a few years ago. Bath salt man, I guess. I don't know.
Could be.
Kind of look like Nick. I don't know.
So speaking of, we're not ready to watch Big Vape on Netflix yet. I do.
I will. I will now.
I have seen the
I wouldn't.
previews.
Yeah. Helen Redmond said we should. There you go.
My
You froze.
list. My list of stuff. Now, speaking of what? Am I frozen? I was sitting perfectly still for a second because I was clicking through a commercial. Am I chopping now?
No.
Kevin? Okay. So yeah, speaking of weird, crazy shit here, Kev, look, this is from the UK. Since Richard came in, we're gonna shift over to the UK.
Oh.
Well, let's watch this shit.
No sound.
What? Oh.
No sound.
Really? No sound.
I'm not in charge of this shit.
How is that?
I'm just telling you.
How is this possible? Let me go back over here. Present, share screen, go over here. It's all clicked. Let's see, share. There we go. Now we're gonna go back. All right, let's start over.
Yes.
We are starting today with the news of Prime Minister Rishi Sunak's crackdown on smoking.
Now, I don't follow, the elections over in the UK as closely as I used to. I didn't even know that the Prime Minister of the UK was Rishi Sunak. I thought it was like some crazy right-wing dude that was elected. Boris. I thought his name was Boris something. Boris Johnson.
Yeah, yesterday in a speech to Conservative Party members, the Prime Minister pledged to raise the legal age for smoking by 1 year every year, which he hopes would eventually create the first smoke-free generation.
The Prime Minister also touched on the potential dangers caused by the rise in vaping, But is he doing enough to tackle this growing problem?
And we are very lucky. We're joined in the studio now by Chief Medical Officer for England, Professor Sir Chris Whitty. Good morning,
Good
Chris.
morning.
Morning.
Professor Sir. So does that mean he's a knight? Did he get knighted by the Queen? Is that how that works? You get your is it called an NBE, whatever, where they give all the actors their sirs and the actresses dames. They do that, Kevin. Yeah, Captain Picard and Magneto, Ian McKellen or whatever. They're sirs because they're actors.
Okay.
And they're famous British people. They get knighted by the Queen, and then they can call themselves Sir.
So Sir Michael Caine.
Yes. Sir Ian McKellen, Sir Patrick Stewart, Sir Richard, the one that was married to Elizabeth Taylor, Burton. Yeah.
Do you like being called Sir?
Chris is just Chris.
Yeah, Chris. Oh,
Just go for
lovely.
Chris. Yeah.
That's easy for us. Chris, yesterday, Rishi Sunak, as we've just heard, wants to tackle this smoke-free generation. So if you were born before the 1st of January 2009, it will be illegal for you to buy tobacco products. So if you've got a 14-year-old, it will be illegal for them to ever smoke.
Which is amazing.
Which is amazing. But do you think this can become a reality?
I do. And what was
his head is firmly planted up his ass. Well,
I noticed a little stain up on the top right, but I wasn't sure.
I'm just saying, if you think that people in a country remember when we had prohibition here in the United States with liquor and people couldn't have booze and stuff, and people still got booze.
Well,
now,
I don't remember it. Ed does.
In the 1950s, when Kevin was a child, cigarettes were, not for kids, but he still got them when he was like 5 years old.
They banned pinball too, right? Pinball.
Yeah.
Yeah. Among other things.
Yeah. That deaf, dumb, and blind kid sure plays a mean pinball. Yeah.
That's right.
So if you think that there's a product, now the only way that this would happen,
it's not.
If there was any way that this could even make a dent, Kevin, if you just made cigarettes completely illegal, you stopped. I mean, you went to every convenience store, pulled every cigarette off the shelves, and you intercepted every package that came into the country, like open every crate, every container, every car that come through the channel, from England, every car that came south from Scotland, unless they're making the Scottish people also ban cigarettes. It is not possible.
And then that's where the black market would start, is where they're being confiscated, right? Because that's where it starts.
Yeah.
It is a comedy skit, Rod.
All they're doing is they're partnering with the black market and saying, hey,
this is what they're doing right there. That's it. That's all they're doing.
We're going to hand you a lot of money to make us look good. That's what they're saying to the black market.
That's what they got in their hands.
Yeah, I mean, there's going to be Addie says it right. There's going to be about 2 million disposables coming into their country on the black market every month.
You're right.
I mean, are they gonna have like tobacco police walk around and if they see somebody with a vape or if they see somebody with a cigarette, how old are you?
Maybe the non-filtered ones will be safe. Maybe they'll
Maybe they're gonna pull a Florida and say, as long as they're filterless, they're okay.
Florida did that.
Oh.
Really striking is when we raised the age of sale here in the UK from 16 to 18, that led to a real drop in smoking. And what we hope is as this steadily moves up the ages, we'll end up in a situation where no one is smoking. And the reason that's so important.
Hey, I bet you illegal drugs are illegal in the UK. I bet you can't legally buy ecstasy or I don't know. Is pot legal in the UK, Richard?
Can you name
is
any product?
marijuana legal?
I don't know. Can you name any product that they've banned indefinitely that you can't get ever? I thank you very much for your time. I appreciate you. Thank you. Speechless. There you go, folks. That's a first. Yeah. Nothing that I can think of. Maybe there is something. But.
I'm sure that they've got a cocaine problem and a fentanyl problem and a crystal meth problem. I mean, they've got rednecks and hillbillies in the UK as well. You know, they're usually from Wales, but
Pot's legal with a card. Okay, I didn't know that. I really didn't know.
So they got medical, but I'm guaranteeing you that every joint in the UK is not smoked by somebody with a medical card.
What? Gasp! Clutch barrels. What?
They're illegal, Kevin. So, you know.
I'm going to repeat this, and I am no Clive Bates. Believe me.
Richard says there's no meth. There's no meth or fentanyl.
Doesn't work.
Yeah, there is.
Prohibition.
Ecstasy. All that stuff. It's all there.
Mm-mm.
Maybe not on the news every night like it is here, but it's there. I promise you. And heroin will always be a thing, Richard. I'm just telling you. From what I understand, it's a very enjoyable experience. I
powerful drug.
I mean, what was the name of that movie? Train Spotting.
It's a spliff.
That's a British thing, so I'm pretty sure that a spliff. Is that what they?
Sir, he called you sir.
Called me sir. Yeah, because I'm going to be knighted.
Fatty. Who's got the fatty?
By the Queen of Ireland.
These fucking people are just
not the Queen of
England.
England.
The other ones in Florida.
Anyway,
is the range of problems this causes, from things when people are pregnant, stillbirths, for example, all the way through cancers and heart disease, right up to the end.
All right. Now, I wonder what the infant mortality rate in the UK is that he's bringing up infant stillbirths from
the
smoking.
more I hear this shit, the less I believe it. The more I hear it repeated, the less I believe
infant stillbirth. I mean, in a medically advanced country, I would have to think that is a rare number. And
but Patrick, he has
low birth weight, sure, but yeah,
spooky
stroke and
language.
Dementia. Smoking is so bad, and actually doing anything we can to cut that down to the point we have none is just amazing.
That would be incredible to actually.
This is the chief medical officer of England.
Is that who he is?
Yeah, that's what they introduced him as the chief medical.
Oh, I don't care.
Do that, but obviously something that we see a lot of now when you go into the shops. I mean, they're very colourful, very lovely to look at. I mean, they look like sweets, and I know it's a growing issue at the moment.
So anything in bright colors looks like sweets, apparently, Kevin.
Well, she's wearing a shirt that's red with white, and that seems bright to me, and I don't know if she's sweet or not. That doesn't entice me.
Well, she could be very sweet. You know,
I don't know.
I mean, that's what she.
I can't judge her by the color.
Kevin, the brainwashing is complete, where they have to associate anything that's got a color on it.
Well, she should have worn gray today. I don't know why she wore what she wore.
It is candy and for kids, apparently. So
because if Ed's watching this, maybe he gets enticed.
She should not be allowed to wear bright colors.
That's
she
what I'm
should only
thinking.
wear drab, boring colors.
Certainly no
that
makeup.
Guy,
Why
I
would
don't
you
know
do
if
that?
is that guy wearing a tie?
He's probably wearing some shine on his head.
No, he's wearing a boring color, so I can't,
Well, there he's driving. That's what
vaping a lot. What is the government doing with regards to that? Because I know Rushy did mention it. What are they actually doing to tackle this?
Well, the reason really we have vapes at all is because smoking is so dangerous that allowing people to be able to move on to vapes improves their health. So if you smoke, moving to vaping is an improvement, but being safer than cigarettes is an incredibly low bar. They're so dangerous.
What?
We absolutely do not want our children vaping at all, because the big danger is that they get addicted, all the long-term effects potentially of vaping, and so it is utterly unacceptable that people are marketing to children.
So, okay, so we're going to remove anything that could be harmful from kids.
Well,
they can't have a bicycle anymore, no roller skates.
Big double-decker buses.
drive
'Cause of
until they're
fumes.
21. They can't,
Fumes,
25. They can't. Theoretically, we're gonna have to pad every. Like we're gonna
Stay
have
away
to
from all
childproof the
barbecues.
entire house. The entire
No
world must
barbecues.
be childproof now, because anything that could conceptually, possibly, theoretically, 1 in a millionth possibility of some sort of harm must be removed.
Except non-filter cigarettes. That's what I've heard. That's what I was told.
So, I mean, if we're
Use is a good word, Eddie. And you see James come in. James, look at right there.
Yeah.
James.
He said that unborn children shouldn't be smoking. I got
They
it.
shouldn't be. You little shits should not be doing that.
Yeah, we're going to remove every possible obstacle for these children.
You're, I was just going to say, bubble wrap sales will increase.
Yeah.
Just wrap the hell out
Remember when you were little, or when your kids were little, and you would bundle them up to go outside and play in the cold?
I did.
And they had so many layers on that they couldn't even put their arms down.
Oh, yes, sir. I did.
So,
within reason.
That's what they're doing here. So,
well,
no sugars, Patrick. No fried foods. No. We're just going to take all of that stuff.
As a parent, and literally watching some of these videos earlier this week and continuing, and now being a grandparent. Now I grandparent differently. I'm a little more. He's a little clumsier than my two were, but watching them walk around and plopping on the floor is like, well, you know what? That'll learn you, boy. Mostly, not always, but you have to have some sense of gauge of how good the child is in his balance and his ability to think and understand. And Jesus, if parenting isn't an action verb, sue me, because you have to have also the ability for them to get as close as they can to touching the stove, but don't let them touch it, for Christ's sake. You have to have some sense of responsibility to teach your children. You can't just let them run into the wild. That's all.
No, I mean,
they have to. They have to
like
get
I said,
across dangers.
So they're going to defeat this beast, Kevin. They're going to remove tobacco. I'm just in their mind. They're tilting at windmills, but
aren't we already in an experimental phase in Hawaii for this? Did that pass?
Kind of. No, it never passed. You're talking about raising the age every year until they're 100? Yeah, that never happened.
It's not going to work.
I mean, they proposed it multiple times, but I don't think it's passed. I'm pretty sure
this is it looks good on paper. Bullshit.
But like I said, so after this, they're going to go after fried foods, because obviously high cholesterol makes fat kids, makes kids have heart attacks. So all these kids, all these parents that feed their kids chicken nuggets every night and French fries, they stop at McDonald's every night and get the kid a half meal, because that's the only thing the kid will eat, right? So they're going to go and take those kids away from their parents because they're making fat kids. I'm a fat guy, so I'm not saying that to be mean. Then they're going to do a Bloomberg and say no super large sugary drinks. Then they're going to go after. Hey, Victor's here. Did you see Victor's
here?
They're
trying. Oh, Victor.
So every possible health thing, like they're gonna eventually have these the kids can't go outside because there's UV rays and they could get skin cancer.
I don't understand.
I mean, these kids today, they just want to sit in front of a computer screen anyway, but they're going to take computer games away because kids sitting on their ass too much. So,
dangers.
Yeah, they're just going to try to regulate every behavior until they brainwash the entire population. That's what they want.
Good.
And yet you see the bright colors, you see the flavors, you see the way they're displayed.
Yeah.
They're clearly aiming at children. People may claim not, but it's obvious they are. You don't really need to be convinced of that. It's obvious.
Well,
so what they're saying is because they're eye-catching.
Well, now I'm attracted to those pillows. I really need some pillows.
That big pink cushion or pillow over there, that looks like cotton candy. I want to eat. I
don't know if that's I don't know what she's wearing, but if it's a pantsuit, I need one of those too now. I don't know what that is.
I mean, if they're going to start banning stuff to help people, they should be getting rid of the bonbons and the.
Well, because he has a sir in front of his
crisps
name, he can be a pompous ass and say what he wants. So,
well, this
you're
looks
not
like a
going to
vape right
ban-
here on the table. You see this orange thing right here? I'm wondering, does this lady vape? Is that what I mean, right here on the table? You see this little orange thing that I'm circling
does
with my
look like
cursor?
Could be a highlighter. Yeah,
Either
I
that
don't know.
or a USB drive. Could be.
Number say itself. So children experimenting with vaping has grown 50% year upon year. So how can we start to even stop this in its tracks?
Well, I think that the first step, and the Prime Minister absolutely made this very clear, is to think through what are the things that people are trying to do to make it attractive to children. Colours, flavours, cartoon characters.
The fact that they're on
No, I don't disagree about the cartoon characters, by the way.
No, I don't either.
All those kind of
displays, wow, the
all
fact
those
that you
kind of
can see
displays.
them.
Exactly. So over the next few weeks, there will be a consultation launched very shortly to ask, right, how do we get the right balance between making vapes available for smokers to move on to because it's safer for smokers, but absolutely not to be attractive to children because it is completely unacceptable.
Huh. Say what? Huh?
So,
well,
Kevin,
the tides have turned a little there for a second.
My friend Peggy sent me a device last week that's white.
Yeah.
It's a little flashy, like
yeah, you showed
colored.
me.
Yeah, and a
It's
blue
burly.
one that's on the couch. But how are they saying that? Because is this, would this be considered child appealing?
In my opinion, my grandson would walk in and go, "What is that?" if he even noticed it, and I would say it's not for you, and he would walk the fuck away and do something else. That's exactly how that works. But really, like, I don't know what else to say. I guess you'd have to be here to grandparent my grandchild, I guess. And then
So
I'd have to
I
tell you to
guess,
get the fuck
what
out.
they're going to have to do, Kev, is they're going to have to like hire a consultant for every household.
Well, Richard said that earlier.
They're going to have to do some sort of government safety inspection of every home in the country.
Sees
so
the kids
that-
at birth, right?
That way they can judge whether or not your home is safe enough.
Oh
You
my
know,
God.
some animal shelters actually will come to your house when you try to adopt a dog.
Yes.
To confirm that the environment will be safe for the animal. I guess they're going to have to do something like that every time a child is born to confirm whether or not the environment of your home is conducive to allowing a child to live there.
You know, I hate touching this topic, but when I drove a taxi, I was an armed driver. Most were, and I assume still that most are. And over the years,
stranger in my car without a gun.
Over the years, on occasion, family members, friends would say, "What?" Because something would come up, and I would say, "Well, I held your children with my sidearm," and they were shocked, and nothing happened. That made them more shocked. Not that they were angry with me. I just happened to stop by. They came over. I'm not going to take it out because you're here. You know, it's concealed. Nothing ever happened. The safest way to do that is,
how dare you, Kevin?
Not. It's an example. I'm not trying to go into the Second Amendment.
Kevin, if I had a kid and I ever needed to leave my kid with you to be safeguarded, you damn well better be armed.
Here's and some never knew I
protect my
carried.
kid if you're not
Here's
armed?
an example. This is a box of matches, old school box of matches.
Right.
This is a very dangerous product. It's extremely dangerous product.
Yes, I went through
this
a
can
firebug
cause
stage.
This can cause death in minutes. Minutes. It won't take 30 years of inhalation. It will take minutes. Mama was a firefighter.
Burn every fucking
in
thing
front of
you
my
own.
grandchild. I am putting this in front of my grandchild every time he's here playing his game on my computer.
How dare you?
That's an example. I should use that to begin with.
How dare you? But no, if you're babysitting my kid, you better damn well be armed, Kevin.
That's what I'm just saying.
So now,
Lord,
speaking of brainwashing, here let me show you some more brainwashing.
Do I have to? Is there any exercise I need to do before some of this stuff? Because
your face is going to be in pain from all of the chuckling.
It already
and laughing.
is.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Here. Let's do this.
Message the Northside Independent School District was sharing tonight as it held a community talk to families.
You know, I've noticed something. This particular KSAT, which is a fucking San Antonio, Texas news channel, they've been running a hell of a lot of vaping stuff.
KSAT, all right.
KSAT.
I thought you were giving me some kind of term I'd never heard. It's the call letters. All right, that's fine.
This TV channel,
Families about vaping and fentanyl. About 50 people packed a room at the Northside Activity Center on Culebra Road this evening.
Now, remember the vaping? All right, remember we covered a story months ago from Cameron. Cameron did a story showing the the source of the vaping fentanyl stuff, right?
Right.
And then we had a scientist on the show, or not on the show, but we played video on the show of the head of the Department of Health for the state of Tennessee explaining the science behind fentanyl and how it cannot be delivered via a vape. Remember all that? Yes. And then we just talk about the utter illogical nature of putting such an expensive ingredient into a cheap ass product.
It's science I can even understand. It's literally, and that's saying
why would anybody put such an expensive ingredient? Fentanyl's not cheap.
You can't.
I mean, even illegal fentanyl from Mexico is still stupid. It's not cost effective. It's a horrible delivery method. So anyway, this is just reminding everybody that if you don't remember all the different shit that we've talked about over the last 2
we've
years
covered
on the
some
show,
stuff,
volumes of shit, but this just laying sort of the groundwork.
Parents and their kids listened as a DEA agent and a rep from the U.S. Attorney's Office spoke.
DEA agent and a representative from the U.S. Attorney's Office, Attorney General's Office.
Nicotine is
about
not
the
on
dangers
the
of
list.
fentanyl. That synthetic opioid kills about 5 Texans every single day. That's according to the state's health department. Now, we spoke with them.
Let's see. Oxycodone, taking that. Xanax, Percocet. I've taken all of these, Kevin.
I don't think I've had any of them. I don't think I have. Maybe the oxycodone during my surgeries, but I don't remember. I don't like drugs to begin with, and unless I could smoke them.
See, Percocet, you literally can't get a fucking prescription for Percocet anymore. The very first time I had knee surgery, I had Percocet. That was 30 years ago. The next time after that, I got like Tylenol,
right?
3 or whatever.
I think whatever I had the first hernia surgery I had. When they gave me my prescription, when I was off it after the 3rd, 4th day, whatever the amount was,
right?
I was, oh my God, I was still in the exact same amount of pain as I was the 3 or 4 days earlier. And I called the guy and I said, hey, I'm still like in the same exact amount of pain. So I don't know how good that stuff was, but what do I do? And he said, well, probably some Tylenol, or, this was pre, craziness, but he said, just take some Tylenol and see if that helped. And it did. So that's why I was good, but.
Yeah, no, I mean, I've taken in the last 30 years, I've taken all of these.
I have taken none, I don't think. I don't know.
I don't remember. I currently don't take any of these.
Michelle.
I just had knee surgery and
Jeffrey.
They did give me some stuff, but
Did you where you at? Did you see them?
Jeffrey
jumping in. Michelle.
Every time I see Jeffrey, I just think of Bill Cosby.
Well, that makes me sadder.
Well, I mean, back in the day, he did there was a Bill Cosby special. It was called Bill Cosby Himself. And there was a story about little Jeffrey sitting in the seat behind him in an airplane and kicking the back of his seat the whole flight, and his mother constantly trying to, Jeffrey. That's why I think of it every time. Every time.
I know.
Anyway, let's go back to these people being brainwashed about vaping and fentanyl.
Mom whose son is a student at NISD, and she wants to know what to look out for because things are so different now from when she was.
We didn't have phones. We couldn't do all.
Guess what? You could still have a kid today and not have a kid with a phone.
Mine were in their teens before they ever even thought of having one. And they paid for it.
If we had cell phones when I was a kid, if they existed, I wouldn't have one unless I could pay for the bill. My parents would never have.
And not only did they have their own, they paid for their own, which they didn't have the money for the plans eventually. I had full and complete and total access, or they didn't have it at all. Now, did I abuse that? No. Once in a while, I'd say, hand me your phone.
When I was a kid, Kevin, we had landlines,
Yeah, of course.
And if somebody called me, like after school or whatever, my parents had internal timers going off. And if I spent more than 5 minutes on the phone, my parents would walk in the room, take the phone, and hang it up.
Yes. Well, yeah, click. Just, you're done. Yeah, I remember those.
That's it. Yep. And if anyone called the house after 9 p.m., there was going to be hell to pay.
Yes, there'd need to be a death or a very serious accident for that phone to ring.
And if somebody called for a kid in our household after 9 p.m., there was going to be beatings.
And they didn't do it again. And you didn't knock unannounced under normal circumstances. There was some decorum. You didn't just go to people's houses unannounced.
Oh, no. You called ahead and said, hey, can I come over?
Always called ahead. I'm still of that complete nature. I don't
believe in going to people's houses unless I've been invited, Kevin.
It's unnecessary.
And I don't want people coming to my house.
Don't come to my house unless you tell me you're coming, and I may tell you not to.
I'm very my wife doesn't. I don't like spontaneous guests at the house. I don't. I want to know who's coming.
Not in my backyard.
When they're coming. I want to make
when
sure
they're leaving.
The house is presentable for people to come into the house.
When they're leaving.
Yeah.
Some of them.
James says he doesn't even go when he is invited. That's
and I'll always welcome you, James.
You're always welcome.
You can come anytime. Yes, curmudgeons.
I don't want nobody in my space, man. I'm telling you.
My kids are the exception. Grandson
let's
and children.
With this woman with this weird hair bun thing going on the top of her head here. I don't get this.
Right. Yeah.
Well, that I'm glad that my son still doesn't have a phone. I'm proud of it, but he can still use Google Chat in his Chromebook. So if
well, see,
don't you police your children?
Allow?
Don't you have parental controls on your kid's tablet? Don't you?
You're allowed to do that.
She's like, I'm so proud that my kid doesn't have a phone, so that he's not being, getting brainwashed by all these people. But he still has it on his fucking. I didn't even know there was a thing called Google Chat, Kevin.
Oh my God.
Is there a thing called
even I knew
Google
that,
Chat? I didn't know that.
There is, yeah. Well,
if there's a will, there's a way. They'll find a way to figure it out and how to get it.
That just means that your kid's smarter than you. She's just admitted that she's a dummy. She's been outsmarted.
If you find filters in the bathroom, you'll know.
They're safe because they've taken the filter off, Kevin.
Yeah. So she was referring to the fact that a lot of fentanyl products are actually sold on social media. Now, leaders at NISD are hoping that today's meeting and urge parents to get help. The district if they think their child is in trouble. And while we're talking about fentanyl, we want to remind you to check out our Fighting Fentanyl series. It's on ksat.com. If you scan that QR code on your screen, it's going to take you to our collection of stories about real people here in San Antonio who have experienced tragedy at the hands of narcotics.
Oh, I know Google Hangouts. I know what that is. Addie says that Google Chats is Google Hangouts. Okay. So all of that, they said vaping in there, but
well,
no content at all.
You got to refer to it because it's important.
They get eyes on it because they use the word vaping to scare people.
I'm going to tell you, in 2019, again, I think that was my last time looking, the DEA does not have alcohol, tobacco, or nicotine on their top list. I couldn't find nicotine at all, but anyway, that's that.
Well, I mean,
what? Huh?
No,
it's not important.
You know how much overlap there is on tobacco, Kevin, in law enforcement, in the enforcement.
Well, yeah.
Range, the departments that are. You see Jeffrey
Ooh.
talking about Chilean
Ooh.
Senate passing a regulating nicotine vaping.
Yeah.
As long as it's beneficial and it's smart regulation, that's awesome. Chile's a beautiful country, by the way. If you haven't been, Kevin, they have good fish there. Oh, that's right. You don't like fish.
No, I love fish. I'm not going out of the country.
I posted a picture of a grilled fish one time, Kevin, and you said it looked like pizza. You thought it was a slice of pizza.
Doesn't mean I dislike
fish. Just because it was a tuna steak, just because the tuna steak was shaped triangular, sort of like a triangle.
I can't help I'm uncultured. I didn't know what the hell you were making that picture up. Could have been anything.
Like,
it looked like pizza to me, probably.
That pizza looks, because it was shaped triangle. The only reason you could possibly
shape it in a triangle.
Because that's the way it was. It was not even triangular. It was sort of wedge shaped or whatever. It was the size of the steak. It was the shape of the steak.
I might have been being facetious. I don't know.
No, you were being stupid.
If it looked like a pizza.
It didn't look like a pizza. Oh, poor Kev.
I didn't think it looked like pie, so there you go. Did you see Skip? I was trying to be nice with my tweets, and she caught something I did like a year ago or 6 months ago. I don't know, and something about be kind. And I said, I'm trying to be kind. And then she responded by saying,
this is me being kind.
Someday, she hoped that I come out there and we have pie, of course. And then she distracted dinner, and she distracted me so badly, and unintended consequences, because I was paying attention. But she distracted me with pie, and I said, "Well, we'll have pie." I forgot the dinner and the hug, and then we're going to have to check on her husband if I go. If I'm ever out there in Skip Land, I got to check on her husband somewhere along the line. After pie, though, of course. So there you go.
Dale says that he's been trying to be kind too, but he's failing.
It's not. It's a struggle. I'm a struggler. It's not an easy thing for me.
Yeah. But hey, speaking of fentanyl, Kevin. Yeah.
Oh.
Year-old's vape tests positive for fentanyl. Deputies say that teen was caught vaping in a bathroom at Deltona High School.
And this all comes just 2 days after the sheriff said a girl at
Time,
DeLand
stop.
High School was caught with one. Fox.
Why wouldn't they say that he was caught with fentanyl? And he was caught using fentanyl.
No, because his vape, Kevin. You got to.
Oh, all right. I just wanted to make sure I was being brainwashed in the right direction. Okay.
It's just,
proceed.
Please. It's crowd control.
35's Marie Ettinger is live in Volusia County tonight with more on this. Marie.
Now, Volusia, is that Florida or Alabama?
I have no idea.
I know it's one of the two.
The Volusia County Sheriff's Office says That kid ran off campus after he was caught vaping in the bathroom. The deputies went to the kid's house to arrest him. They tested the vape since he'd left it in the bathroom, and it came up positive for both THC and fentanyl. Now, the sheriff is actually at the high school right now. He has a meeting. We'd hope to speak with him about this.
Now, let's be honest here, and let's just, there. I don't even. So they would have had to crack the cartridge open.
Yep.
Because
Which
the
is
cops
dangerous, I
only
heard.
have the cops only have the shaker, tests.
That fucks
like
up
this.
half the
They-
time.
they-
Yep.
Right. So by the time the crime lab actually gets the sample to do a test,
For real reliability,
there won't be any left.
there's no.
There won't be enough to test because that would be,
Yeah.
the
Right.
shaker
Exactly,
test,
Raj. Raj is catching on. Look at that. Look at him go.
What are you saying that Raj is
saying anything? I'm saying he's catching on real fast.
You're saying that he's not. He doesn't catch on normally.
Well, if you want to put those words in my mouth, that's fine.
Why are you picking on Raj, man?
Fentanyl and THC. That sounds a little strange to me.
I can't fathom.
You don't make these up, do you?
So fentanyl.
Hmm?
I mean, I'm gonna have to do some like Googling real quick here.
Can they be mixed?
Fentanyl. Let's
Oh
see.
Jesus! We're gonna debunk
Fentanyl
something else.
is a narcotic opioid. I want to see some
he's in
science
charge of
here.
dorks.
So it's okay. Yeah. All right. So why
Richard-
would you mix those two together?
I can't. Rod, he's the one that caught on fastest. I don't know. I don't know.
I don't
think-
know why anyone would. I mean, because one is going to perk you, and the other one is going to.
One pill makes you smaller, and
Normally, you
Go
take
ask
one.
Alice.
You take one.
Don't know.
And then when it's starting to wean, then if you're regulating you're taking an upper and essentially a downer at the same time.
Yes. You see how smart the audience of the #1 show on YouTube is, Patrick.
Well, all of the people that are here are geniuses, Kevin, because they watch our show.
Michael said field tests are notoriously unreliable.
Yes, that's why I said the
Oh
little
my
shaker.
God.
Yeah, they're. Yeah,
Oh my God.
no.
Yeah, and so did Richard.
Yes, and Peggy's right. The vaporization point or the boil is 871 degrees Fahrenheit. Nobody vapes at 871 degrees.
Oh, well, see that now they're way smarter than me. Holy crap! I didn't know that.
Yeah, we knew that already.
Raj has some crayons, just in case you guys are bored and need to.
This, but he says we'll have to wait because the investigation, he says, is ongoing.
This is just the latest instance of fentanyl showing up in a Volusia County school. And parents I spoke with say they're getting more and more scared.
Now, and I don't deny that fentanyl does exist, and that there's a huge black market for it, and it's not good, obviously. But what I'm saying is why would anyone bring fentanyl across the border from Mexico or in crates from China or whatever, spend all that money to get it here, and then put it in a delivery system that doesn't deliver it efficiently or at all
to a 15-year-old?
And why would you put any of it in a cheap ass THC vape pen?
Who got it as cheap as he could, if at all. Oh my God!
I mean, I'm not promoting drug use here, kids, but I'm just telling you.
No.
But this isn't going to work.
Dare had me thinking that there were people out there that were, the dark coats and, the cloaking, cloak and dagger kind of shit that were going to lure me into their den and give me drugs.
Well,
I never found those people.
I mean, obviously, we all know how easy it is to scare the fuck out of people because we've talked about this before. Can anyone find me a reliable news source for people putting razor blades and broken glass into Halloween candy?
Right.
Or I mean, the urban legends.
Right.
We were always told not to accept fruit from people because that was where they were sticking needles into the apple, so that when you bit into the apple, that you would get jabbed by a needle and die or something.
And yet,
you know?
and the answer is no. And yet, I still check my children's candy every year. Imagine
Exactly. But there has I have looked. I cannot find one news story from one like history, because this was around, that urban legend was around when I was a kid.
Yeah, 60s, 70s probably.
And I couldn't find a single thing.
The children are
Just tell your kids
outsmarting
to
the
class.
adults.
I'm actually thinking about pulling them from school and homeschooling them, but that's probably not the best thing to do because this is the world they have to live in.
Well, and I mean, obviously, that would require you to be more active in your children's education.
Do you know, Patrick, that I was dead against my children being homeschooled? Stigma, let's go with stigma in general. And then suddenly they were. And now today I would prefer Logan, when he starts, to be homeschooled. I think it's probably better.
Well, I mean,
but I don't know yet.
I know.
It's not my
mean,
decision.
obviously, I was jealous of the kid when I was in school, and I mean, homeschooling was just sort of starting.
Right.
When years and
I've
years.
never heard of it until I was an adult. I didn't even know it existed.
No. I mean, but it was usually the very far the super conservative families that did it, like the super Mormons or the super conservative Baptists that homeschooled their kids. And I was always jealous because they got up whenever the hell they wanted to get up, and as long as they got their schooling done, and then they would go on these really cool outings together. All the homeschool kids, would go on retreats or
side.
I was kind of like, I want to stay at home and go to school too, but but nowadays, I mean, I have friends that homeschooled their kids, and the last 2 or 3 years when they get into high school, they went to regular school to get their diplomas from a regular school or whatever. And those kids they were all valedictorians.
Wow.
Like
that says a lot.
All the Filipino kids, my wife's friends, I mean, there's a cultural thing that's going on here where most, not all, but most of the Filipinos that come over here, the wives are nurses, and they make 100 times what they could make in the Philippines. And the husbands in the Philippines, they had trades that were marketable, but here, like I have a friend that's a tailor in the Philippines, but here he can't find work because people don't buy handmade suits anymore. They buy off the rack stuff. So he stayed at home and homeschooled his kids.
Nice.
And those kids, all 4 of those kids, they're all like valedictorians of their school. They're genius.
I like the word excelling. Yes.
Yeah. So, I mean, if my kids would probably be little Satans, but
demon seeds. Yes.
Yeah. Because I'd be like,
they're little tax write-offs. They're little ankle.
Do whatever you want to do. Just don't make any noise. Michael's prematurely evacuating. You see that?
What, Richard? You said Michael.
No, Michael says I have to try to get some
sleep.
sleep.
Michael did too.
Good night, everyone.
That didn't come up.
No, Richard saying good night to Michael.
All right, calm down, people.
Come on now.
Good night,
And
Michael.
so it's terrifying, to be honest.
Kelly Nisha's son is a freshman at Deltona High School.
It's definitely a subject that I'm going to touch again with him on tonight because,
Now,
there you go.
Kev, when I was a kid, we had marijuana, right?
We did, yeah.
And every once in a while, there would be a story of somebody getting some like PCP
flying off roofs.
Pot, some marijuana that was laced.
Laced, yes. CP. I recall those stories. Yes.
I would have been very happy with it. But this woman is frightened, not of her kid, like
They didn't see.
This is a helicopter parent right here. This is the
This
whole.
is a great point. And correct me if I'm wrong on my thoughts of my own thoughts. She was scared shitless by the adults who really don't know what they're talking about. And she didn't get educated. She was fearmongered into believing shit.
No, the video before. The video before was a DEA agent, a guy with a badge and a position of authority, and an attorney from the U.S. Department of the U.S. Attorney General's office.
Right.
And now we have deputy sheriffs doing field tests and announcing to the world the results of those field tests without actually having gone to the lab.
Guilty before proven innocent. Yeah.
To whip up a whole campaign of like moral terror. Like this is
the old stir. I'm honestly scared. Yeah, she's right. Whatever she said.
Let's whip the parents up into a frenzy. This all goes back to the child abuse. You know, I've been tweeting at all the nanny staters and the we know better groups.
My backyard NIMBYs. Yeah.
That blaming them for all these child abuse cases, these strip searches, the tasings, all of this because of this moral terror, this panic that they've created with their lies.
Exactly.
So this is a parent who probably loves her kid.
Absolutely.
Probably. Who has been whipped into a nervous panic. Yes. Without knowing, because these are people that have badges, that have titles, that whipping them up and scaring them because somebody told them, the badges, you need to whip these people up and scare the shit out of them.
Yep.
They may think that they're just doing nicotine and then they have something else in it, like the fentanyl. And so it's definitely, for me, it's scary.
A 17-year-old student at DeLand High School just overdosed on fentanyl a couple months ago. The Volusia County Sheriff's Office says the boy thought he was buying cocaine, but it turned out to be laced with fentanyl. He was.
You know, it's pretty sad that we can actually, and I'm not making fun of you, I'm just, that we can make fun of this because we know better and it's basic science.
So they're.
I know.
He thought he was buying cocaine, but it was cocaine. It was laced with fentanyl. So the cocaine wasn't bad enough. Let's scare the people even more.
You fooled me.
When I was 15,
where's my coke?
I wouldn't even. Now, Kevin, when I was 15, I know that I knew where I could go to get marijuana.
Yes.
I knew where I could go get the sticky stuff.
Yes.
But I would never have even had any idea of where to go to buy cocaine.
Well, yes. We're a little different, but yes. Generally, no, but then yes, eventually. 15, 16, probably.
No, Peggy.
Wrong crowds.
The kid that OD'd just was buying coke. He wasn't buying coke in a vape. He was just buying coke, and it was apparently, a 15-year-old buying coke is not concerning, but a 15-year-old buying coke that was laced with fentanyl, that's concerning.
Well, that's scary. That's not,
Well, no, but I'm just the delivery, the way that the
yes.
The dude, she was just like nonchalantly, he thought he was just buying cocaine, but what he got was cocaine with fentanyl in it.
See, Peg, there's
was found dead in his home. The teen who investigators say sold him the drugs was charged with manslaughter this past Monday. That suspect is also accused of selling another DeLand High School.
Okay. So back to the original story, Kevin. The very first story we covered tonight was a kid selling other kids THC vaping products. Now we have another kid selling another kid fentanyl laced vaping products. It's the kid.
We got to ban kids.
We got to blame the kids for the whole pandemic thing because that's where they're buying all this shit is from other kids.
We got to ban those kids. That's what we have to do.
These whole kids are. We have a whole cartel of kids selling fentanyl and THC.
They're out of control. They need to stop. They need to be banned. That's what I think.
They've got a whole criminal empires over here. This is
high school student of vape laced with drugs that caused her to pass out in the school's bathroom floor.
I think it's ridiculous, and sadly, it's not the first time.
Zachary Martin is a.
Now, look at this hippie kid.
Zachary, hang on now. Calm down. Zachary's a what? A parent? Is he a parent?
No, he's a kid.
Junior at DeLand High. He's a just say no type of guy, but that doesn't hold true for all his classmates.
I try not to pay my
High.
It's ridiculous, and sadly, it's not the first time.
Zachary Martin is a junior at DeLand High. He's a just say no type of guy, but that doesn't hold true for all his classmates.
I try not to pay my.
He's got a Daytona Beach Bike Week shirt on, and he's a just say no kind of guy.
Well, how do you know?
Because I've been to Daytona Bike Week, and that's not a place for just say no kind of people. Not in the late 80s and early 90s, at least. I haven't been there since then. But when I was there were, topless leather floozies.
What?
Riding on the back of bike. Oh, yes.
What?
It's like Mardi Gras on the beach in Florida. I'm telling you, with Harleys.
Oh, there's this poor kid.
I could have taken you and gotten you laid back in the day. I mean,
But I just think it's just that nagging on the back of your head that we're trying to learn here. We're trying to get an education, look towards the future, and you can't do that on your own time.
And unfortunately, I just had to have that conversation with my 4th and 2nd grader as well, because kids nowadays are getting a hold of these things, and it's disappointing because you wonder what's causing it.
See, Peggy says I'm right. The perception has not changed for Bike Week. See, I was right. Yeah, this hippie kid is lying through his teeth on camera is what he's doing. Kevin.
Sheriff has been asking schools to start having Narcan on campus in case of overdose.
Yeah, he's asking for Narcan to be on campus so that when he overdoses, that there's somebody there that can save his ass. And I actually don't have a problem with that. And I think that anybody that can deliver Narcan should have it on them pretty constantly. I would like to keep some in my glove box for my patients, to tell you the truth. But until recently, it was not cost effective for me to be able to do that. I have patients that are on 28 pills a day, Kevin.
Yeah.
I mean, when you're in your 90s and let if you're 90-something years old, and the doctor prescribes you pain medicine, I'll be like, go ahead, dude. You're 90 years old. You're not. If you're an addict, it's okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I went to a school board meeting earlier in the year for Volusia County where they were discussing what to do about vapes. A number of ideas were presented, and some of those are going to be instituted next quarter. I'll be talking more about that tonight at 6.
They haven't
live in
yet.
Volusia
Well,
County,
there you
editor
go.
Fox 35 News.
Not very good on the follow through, are they?
Tonight at 6, Kevin.
We talked about it. We just shrugged our shoulders and said, "Well, we'll think about it."
Yeah.
Let's move on. Yeah.
Well, I mean, we did have audio last week of a principal in Atlanta saying he ain't got time to be checking the bathrooms.
Well, because he got responsibilities and all.
Hey, Kevin, do you have your vape cats ex post of the week ready?
I sent it to you. No, I don't.
No, you sent me a tweet, but I don't think that this was your tweet of the week.
It is that is the tweet of the week.
That is?
Oh, that is. Oh, that is. Oh, plus I don't have my share screen hooked up yet.
No, I have it open over here already, but
all right.
Let's be cool about this. Let's
well,
no, not yet. We gotta slap the logo up. We gotta slap the overlay on real quick. Are you ready?
Yes. It's time for our Vape Cats tweet of the week.
Ex post of the week.
Now,
Now,
you know, when you got a non-filter cigarette, everything is fine. And I follow Simon, and at first, him and I have had a few minor interactions, nothing too crazy or negative. And see Figs comment. Do you live under a rock? Because Evan says he's some reporter dumbass somewhere. Oh, I see Richard under there. Those calling a smoking ban illiberal are conveniently ignoring the severe health impacts of secondhand smoke. Blah, 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 blah. Surely should be banned in all public places at least. Mr. Clark said, now think about this for a minute. Everybody, I think, in the room at one point or another was and probably still considers themselves a smoker in my world. Do you live under a rock? Smoking is already banned in every enclosed public place in the country. He's in the UK. What more do you want? A ban on smoking in open air in case a whiff of smoke drifts in the direction of your oversensitive nose? I'm amazed that he couldn't just go a little further and say twit. But what we just said about it's not
Florida.
okay to smoke. Huh?
What we're talking about, Fort Myers.
Yeah, it's not okay to smoke unless it's non-filter. Well, now we don't care about that. And then here they're saying, I don't know if this is a random tweet or if this is on a story or I just saw Simon's tweet and I thought, you don't really remember necessarily how discriminatory you felt when you had to walk 500 feet away from your workplace or 1,000 feet from the store or wherever it was. And then you happily just did your thing once you were there. And then you probably did 2 or 3 if you could, because if you were a professional smoker like I was, you could at least pop 2 in on a break. So it amazes me how most of us, and I'm not saying you got to tweet like what's her face, or you got to vape in the theater like the crazy fucking politician girl. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying have some fucking common sense. Don't blow shit in people's face. But don't be an asshole when I'm not doing that.
Before I came to Texas, before I was in the line, when I ran the art studio, we never worked 9 to 5.
Right.
Never. We were always at work at like 5 in the morning, 6 in the morning. And the rule was if you came in early, you could smoke from at your desk.
Yep.
From if you came in at 6 or 5 or whatever until 9 o'clock. At 9 o'clock during business hours, you had to put the ashtray away.
You got to put it down, yeah.
And then if you stayed after 5, the smokes came out again. And that was in Pennsylvania, where it was already illegal to smoke in public places. But even then, damn. But convenience. Employers will make exceptions when it's beneficial for them.
Yes.
So
the city decided in Dayton, Ohio, to ban smoking in taxi cabs. Now, I'm using a little emphasis on this because you have a wide variety of people in and out of a taxi cab for 6 minutes, for 45 minutes. They're in and out of that car. Your trip could last forever. The trip could last 4 minutes to the grocery. And no one was ever ticketed. I'll just say that because nobody that I know of, unless they were a non-smoking driver, self-employed driver, leasing the car, ever said you can't smoke in here. Now, maybe the non-smokers did, but you certainly could in my vehicle, period.
So I have a few tweets. I'm going to show one now.
A plethora?
I have one now. And then for the Rumble extra, we're going to show some more awesome tweets from people. But this one caught my eye. I liked this one. This one's from Darren Brady Nelson.
Okay.
And and it's also about the British smoking thing. The new rule. The Prime Minister's plans include a ban on selling cigarettes to anyone born from 2009 upwards or onwards, meaning anyone who is currently 14 will never be able to legally buy a cigarette, while their peers just 1 year older will be able to do so. And
there's your point. It'll
so,
never.
So if you were
work.
born in 2010,
right,
boys and girls, and you have friends that were born in 2000, if you're a 2009 kid, your buddies are going to be able to buy you cigarettes. So just just let you know, because the cops aren't going to go around and go, "How old are you? Where did you get that? How old are you?"
May I ask you a question?
Yes.
I'm not sure if I could do it without that. How come they don't just ban cigarettes altogether? Is there a reason for that? Maybe
because of the tax money, Kevin.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Remember a very long time ago.
Because black market, yeah, okay.
A very long time ago, I wrote a piece for a blog.
Well, you're welcome for the lead-in, by the way. There you go. Go ahead.
For the vaping militia.
Yes,
This is very dated.
Yes,
I do believe
you have it. I know you.
I have it on my desktop. There it is.
Wasn't this mentioned in that? Most of these
now. This is no longer active. By the way, the website no longer belongs to us. Somebody bought our website out from under us, apparently, because somebody wasn't paying attention. I was not responsible for managing the website.
Yeah,
but I still have the download from the Wayback Machine.
You got some files?
I do still have.
Yes,
and I actually still have the graphics that were included with the piece, Kevin. Because, oh shit.
Wasn't this like 2022 or something?
Oh, no, this was like 2014, 2015.
No, I mean the future. I don't know what the date was. I forget.
That's a completely different piece.
Oh, you're doing something. Okay. All right. Okay. You're going to surprise me then.
That's a completely different piece. I wrote an article called Addicts and Junkies for the Vaping Militia. No, I have that as well, but so this was
Yep.
Addiction is a strong and harmful need to regularly have something such as a drug or do something such as gamble.
Yeah.
An unusually great interest in something or need to do or have something. So I'm going to read it real quick. So in 1998, the attorneys general of 46 states, as well as the District of Columbia, Puerto Rico, and the Virgin Islands, entered into the Master Settlement Agreement with the 4 largest tobacco cigarette manufacturers in U.S. This agreement set up restrictions on marketing and instituted labeling requirements and levied massive punitive awards to the states to be paid by the tobacco companies. States were to receive $206 billion over 25 years, starting in 1998. They received initially payments each $12.7 billion. Annual payments beginning on April 15th of 2000 of $183 billion all the way up to 2025. Strategic Contribution Fund, they received in 2008 to 2017 another $8.61 billion. The National Foundation, which is now the Truth, is $250 million over 10 years. The Public Education Fund received $1.4 billion from 2000 to 2003. The State Enforcement Funds, $50 million. That was a one-time payment. And the Attorney Generals, the National Association of Attorneys Generals, received $1.5 billion. Now, this is the Association of Attorney Generals of the United States. So these are the 50 Attorney Generals of the United States they decided that because they were the ones that negotiated these agreements, $1.5 billion over the next 10 years.
It's nice of them, wouldn't it?
Yeah. So the Master Settlement Agreement was criticized by many anti-smoking advocates for giving the tobacco companies protection from future actions. It did, however, provide the states with their first fix of that tobacco money.
I have two
buzz,
questions.
man.
Who's got the addiction, and why is this not racketeering? It's only two questions I have.
Well, the governments are addicted to that money, man.
Okay.
That's a lot of money that gets thrusted right into the general fund.
And then why is this not under the RICO Act?
Because it was illegally agreed upon.
It's all in the wording. Oh, now you're getting a little closer to where I wanted to be. All right, go ahead.
So like all addicts, they get that first taste. It gets them to keep on coming. The smoker in this case is the poppy that big tobacco harvests and sells to their junkies, the states. In 1998, the national average cost for a pack of cigarettes was $1.95. After the MSA was signed, that price rose to $2.45 to offset the losses the tobacco companies had incurred. This was the greatest increase on wholesale prices of cigarettes in history.
Yep.
Manufacturers made no attempt to hide that the cost of the accord would be borne by the smokers.
Mm-hmm.
They agreed to just charge more to the people that buy cigarettes and give that money to the government. It didn't hurt their bottom line.
Didn't care. They don't have a clue to why they would care.
So with the sudden influx of the first installments paid to the states from the MSA, states found themselves with higher cash flows. There was no language in the MSA that instructed states on how much to spend on these new resources on education. So the states did what they wished. Every state used most of their MSA money to shore up their budgets. Just like every junkie, that first fix was just a taste. The states wanted more. There has been a federal excise tax on tobacco cigarettes since 1862. This is the very first. This is the very, very first national tax on a product.
Yeah.
Very first.
Yeah.
At one time, this was the main source of federal income.
Mm-hmm.
States added excise taxes over the years and increased those over time to add money to their budgets and to increase the smoking or decrease the smoking rates, increasing them in an effort to motivate people to quit. They quoted studies that showed sales of cigarettes decreased in relation to increases in cigarette taxes. The states continued to reap the additional monies collected and increase the tax to shore up their money fix when quit rates increased. Each tax increase, another trip to the dealer to get that fix. Just like any junkie, the states do anything they can to get more. They take money from their constituents, think that they should go to education and keep, they take money their constituents think should go to education and help people quit smoking and use it for whatever manner they want. The CDC makes suggestions to each state in the amount of the MSA money that should be used in smoking education cessation programs. 2 of the 46 state signatories actually meet that suggested amount. The vast majority of states spend less than 5% of the suggested, not 5% of the amount received, but 5% of the suggested level.
Which is
so if the CDC says we think you should spend 3% of your master settlement money on tobacco education, they're only spending 5% of that 3%.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's a percentage of a percentage.
It's a percentage of a percentage.
Should.
So the vast majority of states spend less than 5% of the suggested amount. Some states are just recreational users. Others are just full-blown junkies. In 2014, that's when I wrote this. In 2014, it is projected that the states will collect $25 billion in revenue from the tobacco settlement and tobacco taxes. They will spend only 1.9% of it, $481.2 million on programs to prevent kids from smoking and to help smokers quit. Those numbers are sad and pitiful. The FDA even tried to have an intervention and called out the states. We understand that there is this was Thomas Frieden. We understand that there are severe financial pressures but they have difficult choices to make. CDC Director Thomas Frieden said, not investing in tobacco control is not only penny wise and pound foolish, it's also costing lives. Just a junkie ignoring the pleas of family and friends. The cigarette sales dropping a reported 3.5% average compounded annually every year since 2009. States are having to start looking for their next source for a fix. Several states have found taxing e-juice. See, I did this. I wrote e-juice as a way to get that fix. The states ignored the evidence that vaping is saving lives so that they can tax it like cigarettes. Wells Fargo is projecting that vapor products sales will reach $4.5 billion this year. This was 14. This is before the boom, Kevin.
Yep.
States are looking at a whole new connection so that they can mainline at the expense of vapors. It is reported that government's federal, state, and local tax cut of tobacco tax sales is 66% as of 2013. Theoretically, states could gain a significant gain in cash flow with a similar tax on e-cigarettes. They are already drooling over it. The FDA regulation impending and state and local governments legislating, it gives them ammunition to impose a tax. Make no mistake, they don't care if higher taxes on vapor products and regulation drive people back to smoking. Either way, they get their fix.
That's correct. Who's selling cigarettes? The government.
Back in the day, I would even put the links to all the sources that I used in the article so that people didn't say I was making shit up.
No, you ain't making shit up. I know you're not making shit up. I've worded that the same way differently. A time or three.
But, the whole point was that
the government.
The government is not going to ban cigarettes because they make a lot of fucking money. The states, the federal government, the federal excise tax is very minimal.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not. It's like 60 cents on a pack or something. It's
a drop.
The states are where the fucking money is.
Yep.
I mean, the FDA is making money off of the tobacco user fees. So
baked right in. It's all there.
Yeah, I mean, but I wrote that in 2014.
Yep.
Now,
please keep smoking. We need the money. That's all it is.
I don't
keep
remember.
trying.
It's somewhere.
Never quit quitting.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's just.
We digressed, but yeah, it's a thing. Why won't they ban them? Well, because you have to.
Why would we do that?
Why would we? Yeah.
No, that's a lot of money.
You can ask any politician.
But yeah, every once in a while, I'd bring out that Addicts and Junkies piece because I thought that was one of the best pieces I ever wrote for the Vaping Militia website. It's nice to have.
Pretty damn good.
Memories, and it's still as valid then as it is now. I mean, obviously the numbers aren't the same, but at the time,
replacing cigarette taxes with e-cigarette taxes is what they wanted to do, and at least since 2016, I know they have been trying.
They've been in certain places they've been very successful.
And soon as they word it right, they will, and then everything will be okay. It'll be fine, and then you should quit that too. Is what's going to happen. So until then, it's children.
We got to save the kids by taking all the choices away from adults, Kevin.
Yeah.
A commercial so that you guys don't have to listen to it.
All right.
4 seconds. 2, 1. Yeah. We just had to make sure that let's present this one. This one might make you feel warm and cozy inside. You never know.
Lawsuit filed more than 5 years ago involving several Myrtle Beach stores may now make it the highest court in the land. As WMBS Julia Richardson explains, it stems from a 2018 ordinance banning businesses in a certain area from selling certain things like vape and CBD products.
Between 6th Avenue South and 16th Avenue North is known as the Ocean Boulevard Overlay District.
I'm gonna disappear for a second, Kevin.
All right.
Listen to this piece while I'm gone.
2018 city ordinance says shops cannot sell vaping and CBD-based products tobacco paraphernalia, and sexually explicit merchandise. 9 different business owners say this is unconstitutional.
There's no shortage of bars. There's no
Uh-oh.
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 I think it's because I took my headphones with me.
Oh, it went too far out. Yeah.
I think I got too far away. All right. Here, let's just remove this for a second. I ran as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
on my bad leg.
Stop running.
Wow. I might have to reload the whole thing.
Oh.
Ah. That's all right. We were 42 seconds in. We'll watch the wheels spin for a minute.
They should tax fentanyl now.
Oh, now I got to listen to a commercial again.
No.
I know.
See?
Yeah. There, now we're ready. Let's represent this now. Fine. I can't act it out.
Myrtle Beach stores may now own businesses in a certain area for selling certain things like vape and CBD products.
Between 6th Avenue South and 16th Avenue North is known as the Ocean Boulevard Overlay District. A 2018 city ordinance says shops cannot sell vaping and CBD-based products, tobacco paraphernalia, and sexually explicit merchandise. 9 different business owners say this
No
is
nudie boots.
unconstitutional.
There's no
Why?
There's no shortage of any of play at night.
Because they want to regulate morality.
Targeted us unfairly, and so we argued to the Supreme Court of South Carolina that you can't do that as a matter of law.
But the state Supreme Court ruled that Myrtle Beach's ordinance was constitutional. So businesses, including Blue Smoke Vape Shop, the Myrtle Beach General Store, Pacific Beachwear, and several others have appealed the case.
When someone's trying to put you out of business, you have no alternative but to fight.
Tuvia Wilkes tells me he represents many of the businesses listed in the lawsuit. He called the city's ordinance, quote, ludicrous.
We just didn't understand it. You know, how can you let people go in the Exxon up here and buy a vape pen, but we can't sell it?
WMBF News reached out to multiple representatives for the city of Myrtle Beach.
Now, see, that does seem like bullshit to me. If the 7-Elevens and the Valeros and the, Stop and Goes or whatever are selling vape pens, how can they prevent these businesses from doing the same thing? Doesn't make any sense to me.
And we were told the city does not comment on active litigation. But the city has previously said they want the designated area to be family friendly. The businesses argue that the time the city gave for the ordinance to go into effect, 4 months, was too short.
You can't tell a business that's been doing something for 30 years that you have to stop in 4 months.
They also
So no nudie magazines, no lingerie, no adult toys, no vaping.
Listen,
can they buy beer?
I can't remember
I see restaurants and bars there. I mean, are those family friendly?
Well, I bet you they got beer. I can't remember the exact quote, so please forgive my silliness. Larry Flint went to court, freedom of the press, all that crap, and the amendment is both for you and against you. It's the same. It's exactly the same. Just because you don't like it doesn't mean it can't be there. Period. And James, if you want to vape in crotchless undies, you do you. That's all I know. I don't care. I hope
do
you
it over
do.
there. I mean,
yeah, don't do it in a bar. If you're in the comfort of your own home,
and don't do it in front of children, please. But, you know,
right. Well, the obvious stuff, but
not the vaping part, but the other part. The crotchless undies is definitely. I bet you James has a pair of assless chaps.
There are, I'm sure, things that you, Patrick, may not yourself like, partake in, participate, do, or otherwise want to have around you in your life. And I'll bet that you don't do them, but you don't probably care that someone else does. That's my guess. I'm just making an educated, hopeful guess.
I support everybody's right to be themselves.
Other than the obvious, the short list of don't fuck with kids and a couple other things, you could, as an adult, make your choices to do as you wish. That's called freedom. And when someone restricts your freedom, then suddenly it's important. When someone restricts somebody else's freedom and you like it, you're a dumbass. That's
a
the
Nazi.
way I see
I mean,
this.
if you support restricting people
generally
their choices, you're a Nazi. You're
double plus good.
Also argue that if the city gets its way, the businesses should be compensated under the taking clause of the Constitution.
In business, when something doesn't make sense, it cannot make dollars.
There's restraint.
Richardson with that report. McConnell tells WMBF News the case was filed to the Supreme Court September 26th, but this does not mean the court will actually hear it. The city has until the 26th of this month to respond.
You know, Patrick, speaking of the attorney that we spoke about before, I don't want to go further than that. The restraint or restriction of trade is also in this little mix of silliness that we go through generally. And I'm assuming that attorney understands all that. I don't. I'm not smart enough.
If you sign, say, if you're a business, and most commercial entities that don't own property have to lease property, right?
Yep.
So if you sign a 5-year lease and then 1 year into your 5-year lease, the city says you have to close your business, you still have to pay the rest of your lease.
You sure the fuck do.
So if the city is saying you can't do business here anymore, then the city should be held responsible for paying off that lease.
Absolutely.
If I could do business here then, and I signed this lease because I could do business then you pass an ordinance that says I can't do business there anymore, then I may not be able to get the law repealed, but I'm going to be fighting your ass to be paying for my lease.
Yeah.
So that that doesn't
in full
ruin my business credit rating. That doesn't, that can affect a lot.
Yes. And most of our friends have gone through some of that.
Oh, I know people
probably
right now
more than not.
Wow.
And still are.
There's a website, Kevin. It's called Retraction Watch.
Yes,
Now, Retraction Watch is a website specifically that focuses on research papers and journal articles and peer article things published in the academic world.
Stuff people say,
right. And when they're pretty comprehensive on their monitoring when something gets retracted.
Right. That's their goal is when it does. Right. Not to make it that way, just when it does.
In July, an article or a study was retracted by the BMC Journal of Public Health.
Yeah.
And it was done by some people that are pretty smart.
Yep.
And they did here, I'm going to show it to you.
We have an association with at least one on Twitter.
Well,
not the study people. Oh yeah, we do. Yeah, okay.
Joe
It is
Gitchell
Joe.
is one of the people on here that is our friend.
Yeah.
And it was a population level model to examine the relationship between smoking prevalence and e-cigarette use in adults. And this was pretty comprehensive. And they studied all the way back to 2010 to 2019. Now, in October of this year, it was retracted.
Yeah.
By the journal that published it, not the authors. So there was a question regarding this is the actual regulator watch, or not regular retraction watch piece.
Yeah.
So there was an objection on the 2010 numbers, because at the time the numbers were so low, it was essentially zero in 2010. On a population level, it's essentially zero, and that was addressed in the original publication.
Right.
Well, the people that like to piss all over anything that says vaping is good, found that one little tiny thing that was addressed, and said, well, that skews your data.
That's invalid, right?
It invalidates, which is not true, because it is so near zero. It is zero, statistically comparable to zero. If you do any statistical analysis, there's, it's such a tiny, it's 0.0 something % of population is zero.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, standard deviation would be covered. I'm just taking. My wife is taking a nursing statistics class right now, so I'm actually learning the testing models.
Okay.
So it says here, authors file complaint with publisher as journal retracts vaping paper. A paper that found smoking rates in the United States fell faster than expected as more people started using e-cigarettes has been retracted over the objections of its authors, who have filed a complaint with the journal's publisher. We have reported, as we reported in July, the BMC Public Health informed the authors, population level, blah, 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 that the editors had decided to retract the article after receiving a critical letter. So they received a letter. The letter did not request retraction of the paper, but argued that its analysis were flawed and therefore potentially produced misleading findings that would benefit tobacco industry profits and interests. The authors of the retracted papers are employees of Piney Associates, a consulting firm that also provides consulting services to tobacco harm reduction on an exclusive basis to Juul Labs Incorporated. The article also disclosed that Juul Labs funded the research and reviewed the provided comments on a draft manuscript. After we published our story about the pending retraction, 23 researchers wrote a letter to the journal expressing concern about the decision. They wrote, the authors appealed to have addressed the various concerns raised in their responses to the pre-publication peer reviews and their sensitivity analysis, which shows that the findings are robust under a range of initial assumptions. We are aware of the author's role as consultants for Juul Labs, not least because it has been transparently disclosed by the authors throughout the editorial review process. The reported conflicts justify due skepticism and scrutiny. They do not justify unfair and unequal treatment. The proper way to respond is through open source concept of replication to confirm, refute, or challenge the findings using the same publicly available data sets. So they received one critical letter, Kevin, critical letter, and they decided to retract. They've received 23 letters from other researchers.
Here's replicable. Is that the right word? Replicable.
Shouldn't logic step in here, though, Kevin? I mean, they're telling you right here the proper way to respond is through open source concept. And the whole thing about science is that it should be replicatable.
So this is replicatable. I burn this. Ow, fuck, that's hot. Now you try it. And if you find it's hot, and Michelle finds it hot, and James finds it hot, it's
Michelle and
probably
James,
hot.
please do not burn your finger. Kevin's a dummy.
I said if, may, could, might. That's how you replicate something.
Mm-hmm.
I still love the smell.
The retraction notice does not refer to any conflicts of interest, but stated the editors have retracted this article after readers raised concerns about the methodology. A post-publication review highlighted concerns of the assumption of zero prevalence of e-cigarette use in 2010. Standard deviation. Let's go. Right. Which contradicts available data. That this assumption is not fully supported by the sensitivity analysis performed by the authors. Therefore, the editors have lost confidence in the results reported by the article. None of the authors agree to this retraction. The authors of the paper believe that a retraction is not warranted, and we stand by our results. They said in a statement shared by Flo Foxon, the data analysis at Piney Associates, and the corresponding author of the article. They continued, "We believe the process was wrong, and their interpretation of the data and science is demonstrably wrong. Consistent with open science principles, we believe the journal should have published the letter it received and our response. Since the journal has not done so, we invite readers and interested parties to read the article and subsequent correspondence with the journal, which we have made available here in a full PDF file." I think it's a PDF file. Let me open it here. So, yeah, all of the links are here on a PDF file. So they received a letter from the journal saying, "Hey, we received a letter that says that your analysis is flawed because you say 0% in 2010 and it was 0.017 or something like that, and that's not zero, but standard deviation, and using your math, you're going to find out that is not a significant. It's not going to screw it's not going to screw up your calculation.
Tobacco control math. I've got too many comments to this. Way too many.
So the correspondence the authors posted contains their detailed refutations of the concerns mentioned in the retraction notice and conviction that the decision is based on fundamental misconceptions regarding basic elements of our article. The authors also sent a formal complaint about the process followed in the scientific judgment of the journal's editors to Springer Nature, its publisher, in September 22nd, and they said that they have not received a reply. The complaint, available here, there's a hyperlink there, argued the authors addressed the concerns raised about the paper during the peer review process and in post-publication correspondence with the journal editors, and the retraction was inappropriate. Rather than a retraction, the authors said the journal should publish the original complaint letter it received, as well as the subsequent assessment of an editor board member and the author's reply, so that interested readers can decide for themselves which conclusions best fits the available data they included. By retracting the paper, the journal denies readers this opportunity and credits one side of a discussion while suppressing the other in a way that is incongruous with the pursuit of scientific knowledge. A Springer Nature spokesman confirmed receipt of the complaint and said the publisher was currently in the process of providing a detailed response. Although the journals followed COPE guidelines throughout the retraction, and the authors were fully transparent with the editors were fully transparent with the authors during the investigation, we hope this response will provide further clarity in the process undertaking.
So they go ahead first.
I mean, this is, again, they received one complaint, Kevin.
Yes. Right.
One complaint. This is a peer review. This is peer reviewed. This is,
right.
This has had eyes on it. The editor had eyes on it. The peers that were reviewing
their bosses, I'm sure,
eyes on it.
Yep.
And they published it. But then they get one complaint, and they use the words "big tobacco," and suddenly everybody's dick goes limp, and their tail tucks in between their ass cheeks, and they whimper.
Well, research on vaping is shown to cause erection dysfunction.
So this is this is the perfect example of peer pressure, Kevin.
Exactly. Over the years, now I'm talking years because 2013, 2014, I did a little survey. I've seen the decline of stupidity just snowball into hell. Now, what I have found and just observationally found, this isn't a peer-reviewed thing, is if
Kevin, everything
anybody,
you say is peer-reviewed because all of our friends are
well,
reviewing us
they
right
are, and every blog I had literally was peer-reviewed. Believe me, if I was wrong, I was told. So, and it was corrected. That's where the links part came from, of vaping links. So, when I noticed first, I don't recall, but what I did notice was when anybody in the tobacco control field does a study, they have first-hand touching, and they can manipulate anything they want. And that's where my tobacco control math hashtag came. And they can control the narrative. And when someone that is not in, and it doesn't matter where they're from, I don't care if it's tobacco companies, I don't care if it's Juul, I don't care if it's Joe Gitchell himself, I don't care. He is assumingly going to be peer-reviewed, just like they should be, and they're not. Or they're like, well, yeah, we're always going to do it this way, so it's fine. If they don't have their grubby little fucking hands on it, then they're pissed off, and this is what they do. This is knee reaction. It's knee-jerk. So I'm of the school that says, if you don't like what I have, you don't have to prove me wrong, buddy. You have to prove yourself right. And they took no opportunity to do that, did they? And then the journal just went, oh, we're sorry. I apologize. We're going to have to take this away from you.
Good night, Richard.
Good night, buddy. I don't like that. Like they don't like porn in wherever that was. I don't understand. What I'm assuming is Joe's going to be a liar just like Glance is. And then, and I'm not trying to fuck with Joe, and then somebody's going to check Joe just like they do Stanton. And then they're going to go, well, yeah, he's full of shit. Or, oh, fuck, he's right. Who's got the bigger voice? That's the bigger dick is going to win on this most of the time. And obviously there's somebody with a bigger dick, evidently. And boy, it pisses me off. So they're right, or statistically insignificantly right, is what you're saying. And yet they're yanked. And I don't care where the research comes from, folks. For those listening into the future, my grandchildren, my great-grandchildren, if it can be proven wrong, then I need to know that. And if it's correct, it needs to be said, well, we checked it. Yeah, fuck, they're right. We don't like it, but they're right. You have to take that admission and move on with your day. That's all. And my assumption is that whether you like Joe or not, I don't know if some of you know him. You probably all do. He's probably right. Him and his team of people that were on that paper did their diligence. That's my assumption. And it makes it seem more like they did their diligence when some dumbass writes a letter and that's the end of it.
See, but so again, I mean, my main criticism of this whole thing is that it only took one complaint.
Yeah. Ow. And who has that power?
The editors of a journal.
Who has that fucking power?
To buckle. Like,
right.
We don't, I mean, they're essentially saying we don't trust the peer review process. Like we've been, this is how we do all of our science, research.
Except for us.
Through the history of modern academia.
Research, yeah.
This is how we do science. People do experiments. They write a paper. They turn it over to other people to peer review it.
Dr. Farsalinos himself has done this.
Will then write a critique or an analysis of the documentation and say, we agree that this science is replicatable. And we agree with what they've done here. this is good science.
Or it's not. One of the two. And
Or it's not, and then it doesn't get published. So now this journal has decided that the peer review system is no longer valid because it only takes one person complaining, and
Via
then
letter.
the peer review process gets ignored, and the veracity of the science is deleted.
Does that mean I can write a letter every time I don't like something and it'll get
We should
taken away?
write letters to
all
of these journals and say, hey, you published something that I don't like.
Get mechanical pencils out, kids.
It's your fault, and we demand that you retract this piece.
Fuck.
That is the trend that they have just allowed to occur.
This is my little meme. Politics over data, harm reduction, science, truth. Politics take place.
You're gonna love the last piece that we're gonna after this piece that I have two more pieces, Kevin. We're gonna do this one here.
Yeah.
And then we're gonna zip over to Rumble and we're gonna do one more and go over some other tweets.
I appreciate you hanging with us.
This will not be the Vape Cats X post of the week, but these will be other tweets that I thought were cool enough that we should at least give them some time. And I'm sure that you can find a couple more tweets that you would like to talk about as well. So anyway, this piece, Kevin.
Cheshire Cat.
This is not gonna make you laugh as much as the other one.
It's not gonna bode well. Is that what you're saying?
So I'm gonna share. Well, you won't see it. Damn. So the link. Okay. So usually when you click on a link, it'll have the web address of the site. This is Cincinnati.com. And it says Cincinnati.com/story/opinion/contributors. The date was October 4th of 2023. And then the name of the piece is Vape Epidemic Harming Kids Lead High Potency Marijuana. Is what it says on the link.
Yeah. All right.
So if I hit share here. Now, the headline says vaping epidemic is fracturing our children and destroying their lives. So over here, you can't see it. You can't see it as they change the title of the piece. It says vaping epidemic harming kids lead high potency marijuana. So they didn't like that their headline sort of had something to do with marijuana, because in this day and age, in most states, people's opinion of marijuana is more friendly than it used to be. Whether that's a valid belief, I mean, it is a valid belief. When I was a kid, marijuana was the devil's lettuce or whatever. It was evil. But nowadays, most people are much more friendly to marijuana because it's legal. So it says here, this is an opinion. This is an op-ed by Denise Mayer. And then there's a picture of a man hugging his much shorter wife. It says Jeff Sundberg stands with his wife, Haggett. Is Haggett a H-A-G-I-T? Is that a Haggett? Would you really want your name to name your child Haggett? In their home in Anderson. So Jeff and Haggett Sundberg, unfortunately, are not alone. The Anderson Township couple courageously shared their story about the toll vaping has had on their son, families, schools, supper vaping's toll on October 1st. I founded Step Up Anderson Township 5 years ago to educate parents about the dangers of vaping. The good news is most of our children will never partake of the largest tobacco or marijuana company's products, despite their candy-flavored enticements. However, approximately 25 to 30% of our teens are vaping. 25 to 30% are vaping. I believe that number is not accurate. But anyway, however, 20 to 30% of our teens are vaping. Some started nicotine vaping as early as the 5th or 6th grade, according to the state and federal data. One Juul cartridge, a popular brand of e-cigarette, contains as much nicotine as an entire pack of cigarettes, according to the CDC. Some teens will smoke a Juul cartridge in an evening. These nicotine vapes can not only be seriously damaging to our lungs, but they can also be a gateway to vaping high potency marijuana, Kevin.
Well, them damn kids.
Oh, there's an advertisement for an app here for social, so you can
bullying and
bullying and I don't. That's an advertisement. I don't think it. Anyway, the pot smoked at Woodstock in 1969, also known as Woodstock weed, contained 1 to 3% THC. Because I can never say tetrahydrocannabinol, which is the mind-altering substance that makes a person high. Since then, the potency of marijuana plant material has steadily increased. Today's high-potency marijuana starts with a plant that has been biogenetically altered and contains up to 45% THC. That's respectable. It is then put through a process to extract just the THC, which is referred to as a dab. The dab, which resembles a tiny bit of earwax, can be heated in a rig or any device that will vaporize it. Then it is inhaled, going directly into the bloodstream. Is that true, kids? I've never used a vape THC product, but 45% seems pretty tough. I'm just saying.
I'll ask my son and see what he says eventually.
I
He won't have any idea.
Troop might know.
What's your percentage in that, boy? And he's going to go, that's what he say.
So it can be further distilled and added to food such as gummies, candies, or made into an oil. This can make the THC as much as 90% or more. That seems pretty relatively high.
It's all the word.
Ingested cannabis. I know that I have a friend that told me that if you really wanted a good one, you needed to go to the gummy route. Apparently, the gummies are pretty. I don't know. It's not legal in Texas, and I've repeatedly said on this show, I work in a field that I can be drug tested at any moment, so it's not really something that I can do. I can drink legally as much as I want, as long as I'm not driving. But if I get caught with one failed piss test, I lose my license for a year. So ingested cannabis takes longer to hit the brain as it must go through the digestive system. Hence, kids keep eating them as they don't get the immediate high. This can result in overdose, psychosis, and even death, according to the National Institute on Drug Abuse. Now, I'm not saying that I'm an expert in the field, Kevin, but I have known a lot of potheads.
Me too.
And not a single one of them has ever gotten off the couch and had a psychotic event.
Nope.
And
not that I can recall.
I remember the after school special that, and obviously, I probably have, give me a second here, Kev.
Was it the Scott Baio one?
I probably have a clip here of a psychotic pothead. Let's see. Oh, here, I'll show you. This could be a psycho pothead.
Let's go, Jack. I'm red hot. Better be careful how you drive it. The first thing you know, you'll be ice cold. Take it easy, kid. Slow down. You'll kill somebody.
That maybe that, but other than that, I'm not really seeing any psychotic events going on there, Kev. Let's see. Emergency rooms and poison control centers across the U.S. and here in Ohio have seen a dramatic rise in visits due to high potency marijuana, according to the CDC. This is a very serious situation, as the Sunberg story warns us the dangers of early THC vaping can lead to schizophrenia, paranoia, and suicide, according to the National Institutes of Health. I think that's probably a correlation a false correlation there, Kevin. More than likely, the person, the child, the probably had undiagnosed schizophrenia before they started taking THC. Yeah.
It's all in the wording, isn't it?
Yeah. The US FDA or DEA has also reported that fentanyl has been found in these vapes recently. We cannot ignore this epidemic that is fracturing our children and destroying lives. We must educate ourselves and empower them to stay healthy and just say no. Spelled N-O-W.
There you go. That's the wrong thing to do.
Yeah, just say no.
Sometimes I fail to realize what motivates people. I really do.
It's
a train full of weed.
It's just
That's the goal.
The whole product of that whole mind frame is I know better than you, and you must do what I say.
You know, I had a really hard time as a human and as a parent, where I myself had partaken in the devil's lettuce. I did enjoy it. I know you haven't, and I did. And
you didn't do shit for me.
And we're all different, aren't we? We're the same, only different. We are. Every one of us. We're all the same, only different. Now, because me and Chocolate Man like chocolate, and you think a Tootsie Roll is a chocolate product, and you're a goofball. But we love you anyway, despite your silliness. So when my children were growing up, I said, hey, you little shit, don't you be touching that crap. It's bad for you. And the minute they turned 18, I'm like, oh, are you? Good for you. Really. Hypocrite. Me.
Yeah.
Because it's a hard line to follow, isn't it? Right? But once they turned 18, they also understood their freedoms and their choices and the consequences of said choices. Now, there's where my parenting and possibly others that want to write op-eds differ. So there you go. But in the parenting sector, I'm looking at you until you're fucking 18, period. Or out of my house. In my case, it was a little longer. There were some things I would not tolerate here. He could go smoke pot, but you're not doing it here.
We'll do it in my house. It stinks.
That could infringe upon my freedoms if you've got a carload of cops coming in here to chase your stupid ass or your friends for something that I didn't do here. So
yeah, when you lose your car because somebody in the car has something illegal on them.
Exactly.
You don't want to lose your house.
Exactly. But Nancy fucking Reagan.
Yeah. Nancy Reagan. Right.
That's
I mean,
right.
I loved Ronnie. Don't get me wrong. Ronnie Reagan is my
I heard she was something.
He wasn't 100%. Don't get me wrong. He had some he stumbled as well, but I do like
Dave's not here.
Most of his
Dave's not here.
Yeah.
But, man.
All right, Kev.
Oh.
Let's say good night to the losers that aren't going to Rumble.
Hey, watch your lip now, buddy. Don't you be calling my friends losers.
Well, the ones that really love us will go over to the Rumble.
No peer pressure.
Stop. If you don't love us, you can
make
go
your
now.
choice.
But I'm telling you, the next piece,
stick with it.
The next piece that we got is pretty good. And then the tweets that I'm just telling you, it's worth the price of admission to go over. It's free. Hey, Kevin, we've made 8 cents.
Well, we don't make any sense normally, Rumble. So that's good.
We've got 8 cents sitting over in our kitty over there.
Kitty cat's what?
We're racking in the dough over on the Rumble.
Yeah, that's right. We're fucking shills now, buddy.
8 cents. So we're gonna play the Mark Sliss outro.
Oh.
And then that will be our dividing line.
Where did he come from?
The Rumble. He's been here.
I didn't
you hear me say Troop would know about the THC stuff? Because
I thought you were just referring to Troop being able to know. I didn't know he was in there. Hi, Troop.
I randomly
check your
selected him.
tweets.
I
I haven't
randomly
checked his
selected
tweets in
him.
a while.
Possible. All right. So love you. See you over there. Watch Mark.
Locally, my clients are physicians, nurses, single moms, couples, multiple generations of families, seniors on fixed incomes, disabled, veterans, residents of assisted living facilities, and teachers at the local elementary, middle, and high schools. Most are dealing with serious issues other than their smoking habit, further degrading their quality of life and their ability to quit smoking. From 18 to 96 years old with an average age of over 40, nearly all referrals by other successful clients. Most have smoked for decades, the result of the 93% failure rate that they've been stuck with. They don't believe you and don't trust you with damn good reason. You will never reach these people. They know you don't care and they despise you for it. I greet them in a t-shirt, this one with Kevin Crowley on it, and blue jeans, and a nicotine molecule tattooed on my forearm.